1979 also represented the University of Miami hiring coach Howard Schnellenberger, which set its sights on a national championship within 5 years. The year of 1979 also marked the beginning of a quarterback legacy at the University of Miami, and that legacy started with Jim Kelly. And we're joined today, we're invited by Coach Howard Schnellenberger to his campus on Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton. We're joined today with Jim Kelly, Coach Schnellenberger, and Jim Burt. So Jim, the first start, you're kind of excited about that.
Well, as soon as you started talking about it, I started getting pumped up because for me it was a very special time. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and where I'm from, you're either Pitt or Penn State. And I've always been, Coach, I've always been a big Joe Paterno fan. I always wanted to play for Penn State, but unfortunately, right before the national signing date, he called me on the phone and he said, Jim, we've already signed 2 All-State quarterbacks, and we'll still give you a full ride, but we want you as a linebacker. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I went to his football camp my junior and senior year, tried to impress him, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I guess, fortunately, I wound up at the University of Miami.
Well, and Coach, where were you thinking starting a freshman quarterback in this big game?
Well, I'd been thinking about Jim for a very long period of time because it was very obvious that he was the best quarterback in camp.
See?
Mike Rodriguez had been playing quarterback, and I had made a terrible mistake in Baltimore when I started Burt Jones ahead of Marty Domrese in his first game, and I wasn't going to let that happen again. I was going to wait until, first of all, the offense was ready to play and Jim Kelly was ready to and be successful. We didn't have time for a second start. So the time was right. We had no chance to beat those guys with our present quarterback and our present structure, so I elected to go with Jim on that day. And it was a very special day. Beverly didn't know that I was going to start him. My assistant coaches didn't know I was going to start him. And at the pregame meal, I announced to him and to the team, I guess it was simultaneously, and the team cheered, of course. And what did you do, Jim?
First thing I did was run to the bathroom and threw up my pregame meal. It's funny how you go along and stories change a little bit, because I remember, Coach telling me, and of course, for my own mind, all I thought about was here. My whole family came up. They thought maybe if we're getting blown out, I might get in at the certain part of the game. But to go against a team that I grew up loving and going against a coach that I wanted to play for and going against a coach that said I wasn't good enough to play quarterback at his school, it became a very special time in my life and pretty much set me off to the career that I enjoyed for many, many years after that.
Well, let's go to Jim Burt now, All-American nose guard, and you were recruited by Lou Saban, the previous coach. What did you think of Coach Schnellenberger when he came in?
I have goosebumps thinking about it, because without Coach Schnellenberger, I don't think any of us make it, because he set a standard at University of Miami, and for us, the toughness that he gave us inside. And when I went to the Giants, and Jim could say the same thing, 4 Super Bowls, it's amazing what he's done. There was nothing that I couldn't do, because Coach Schnellenberger, you don't take your helmets off. It's 95 degrees. It's 95, 100% humidity, no helmets, no water breaks, 3.5-hour practices, gases after every practice. Okay, it never ended. And he gave us the inner toughness, 11 o'clock curfew. And then after a while, we started doing that. Things changed. We started monitoring ourselves. Someone coming 2 minutes after 11, he didn't have to watch us anymore. So the discipline became there. Everything came, and I ended up playing 12 years. Jimmy played probably more, and it's because of this man right here.
And the best part about that, he said he didn't have to watch us after 11 o'clock. Oh, so he thinks.
You can't understand how much he meant. He was a guy that was a policeman in the dormitory, and as Jim says, we didn't have to worry about it. Put people in. Who'd you put in the closet?
Oh, I don't remember. I can't say.
Tony Fitzpatrick.
Well, we'll be able to talk about all these great stories, and really, I look at 1979 as being the cornerstone to becoming a contender for Miami, and it was really the turning point. So, without further delay, let's go to this game. We're going to join Hank Goldberg and Rick Weaver, legendary voices of the Hurricanes, in Beaver Stadium to watch this gridiron great between the University of Miami and Penn State University.
Weather-wise, we have a very crisp fall afternoon here, the temperature hovering around the 40-degree mark, but it is your typical fall day, a lot of beauty on the horizon. We're going to have a good hard-hitting football game. The Hurricanes are in pretty tough this afternoon. The man who will describe the action for you, the face and voice of the Hurricanes, Rick Weaver.
Thank you, Hank, and hi once again, everybody. The Canes won the toss, so they will receive and defend the south goal. We're moving from our right to our left for the first quarter of the ball game. They are in their white jerseys, and there you see the kickoff specialist for Penn State, young Brian Franco, number 10. Back as the deep end for the Canes will go Albert Bentley, number 39, to the top of your screen, and that's James Joyner, number 13, at the bottom. Of course, the Hurricanes are a considerable underdog. Here are the officials, Tom Thammert, the referee, and you see the rest of them. We had Theodore Benson, the umpire, last week at Syracuse. Those are the officials. Here is Franco's kickoff with the wind to his back. He drills it into the end zone. Joyner will run it out from 4 yards at the 10, the 15. He is out to about the 19-yard line before he is tripped up. Joyner is the man who returned the kickoff, and Brown out in front of him laid a pretty good block. Danny Brown, incidentally, will be replacing Moselle Axon at a linebacker spot. There you see Miami's offensive line. And we will have, of course, John Fenton is not playing today. Don Bailey, number 61, is the center. And there you see the key people who will be handling the football.
And Jim Kelly is in the game, Rick. He will start the game at quarterback.
Jim Kelly, the youngster from East Brady, PA. There you see him. Number 12, a legend at East Brady High School. They retired his jersey. He's thrown for almost 4,500 yards. Last week against Syracuse, 7 for 17, 130 yards. All right, the Canes from the 18-yard line. We get a look at this very excellent Penn State defense. The backs are split in behind Kelly. That's Hobbs along with Roan. Kelly will put it up on first down. He hits Hobbs across the middle, shakes the tackle. He's at the 30, 35, 40. He may go. He may go. Look at him put up a speed, and he's dragged down from behind by Giuseppe Harris, the younger brother of Franco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 57 yards. And Hank, there is that pass over the middle to the man out of the backfield we saw last week.
That's right. We saw it many times last week. The man over the middle was consistently open. They caught Penn State with a 5-man front and sprung Hobbs over the middle. Hobbs just comes up there and breaks a tackle. Steve Griffiths had a shot at him and let him get away. And at that point, when you let him get away, it's clear sailing for him. And it wasn't until Giuseppe Harris came up that he was stopped.
Hobbs and Roan are the split backs behind Kelly from the 25. He wants to pitch. Hobbs up the far sideline. He is still in bounds. And let's see where they say that he stepped out. Close to the 20-yard line to pick up a 5 yards for Chris Hobbs. So the Canes come out blowing right off the bat, and Joyner will come in replacing Brodsky with a play. Here is the Penn State defensive line. Kubin, the left end, and Clark, the middle guard, really make it work. Matt Millen, their fine All-American right tackle, was operated on for a lower back condition yesterday, so his place is being assumed by number 61, Leo Wisniewski. Second down and 5, Canes from the Lions' 20-yard line. Jim Kelly, quick drop, goes to the near side. It is caught by Joyner. He's down to the 10. He breaks the tackle, but he goes out of bounds at the 5. That's a first down for the University of Miami. Giuseppe Harris again had to run him out.
Well, I really like this, Rick. Jim Kelly came out. Here you see him on just a simple out to Joyner. This is 3 plays now, and they put the ball up 3 times. Joyner just on a little swing pattern to the outside, breaking tackles. Hurricanes fired up, throwing the football early in the game. Last week they only put the ball up 7 times in the first half, although I understand there were 11 passing plays called, and they know they have to throw to stay with this club.
They put the extra tight end in. The ball is at the 6-yard line, first and goal. Roan and Hobbs split off behind Kelly. Kelly with the sneak. He's down to the 2-yard line, maybe the 1. Good block up front. Lance Mell, the All-American middle linebacker prospect who Joe Paterno calls the best inside linebacker he has ever had here at Penn State, number 56 on the tackle. There you see the linebackers. Mell in the middle. Watch him. He's number 56. All right, the ball down at the 2-yard line. There you see the Miami bench. Everybody calm and collected, but inside, you better believe they're churning. Everybody sets in tight. The back split off. Young Mr. Jim Kelly from the 2-yard line. Here's the handoff, and Hobbs is going to be decked for a loss back at about the 5-yard line. That's Gene Gladys, the defensive right end, number 79, who hit him first, from Monessen, Pennsylvania. He's a junior at 6'2", 215 pounds. A loss of 2 yards.
That puts the Hurricanes in a hole. Now they have 3rd down and 4. When you get into, there's the secondary for Penn State, Rick.
Giuseppe Harris is the younger brother of Franco. There was another Harris here last year, Pete Harris, as a defensive back, and he was declared scholastically ineligible before the season began.
2nd and 2, I'd have gone for play action rather than just a straight dive play as they ran.
3rd and 4, Joyner is split to the top of your screen. The backs are split off. 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. And Miami's going to be penalized for taking too much time, I believe. Kelly took him a little bit too long to get the ball in play. You have 25 seconds in college. Here you see Wisniewski, and number 56 is Mel. You see the referee, Mr. Thabert, signifying too much time, and suddenly things have begun to go wrong for the Hurricanes.
On that particular play, Kelly was in the huddle. He was calling a play. Then he was looking to the sidelines to get the play. They were a little too long sending it in. They're relaying the plays. You can see Kelly looking over now to the sidelines. Now they're sending Larry Brodsky in with the play. I think there was as much confusion as on the sideline as there was in the huddle, Rick, and it cost them 5 yards.
We have 12 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The Canes took the opening kickoff, and Kelly hit Hobbs across the middle. He ran at 57 yards. They got to the 2, and they've gone backwards since. 3rd and goal from the 9. Kelly play fakes, fires it out. It is caught by Beretta, the tight end. He is decked at the 7-yard line, and a flag goes down after the ball carrier, Beretta, had hit the ground. The tackle was made by the linebacker Donaldson and Giuseppe Harris. Andy Beretta, who was very heavily recruited by Joe Paterno here at Penn State. He's from Philadelphia. The tight end, and we'll see what the flag is about. The tackle was made at the 8-yard line. And referee Thabert is explaining the situation to Jim Kelly, as you see.
Whatever it is, take it, Jim.
Yeah, whatever it is, take it. And it's going to be marched off, of course, from the point of the infraction.
I don't know what's taking so long, but John Kane and I left the line of scrimmage a little early for the Hurricanes, so if this does in fact go against Penn State, they get the best of it.
They're going to mark the ball down at the 3-yard line, the 4-yard line, half the distance, face mask on the tackle. Now, whether it was against Harris or against Donaldson, both over there remains to be seen. So the Canes will have a 3rd down and goal from the 4-yard line, so they get a break on the penalty and retain possession of the down. 3rd down and goal from the 4-yard line. Joyner is split to the bottom of your screen. The backs, Roan and Hobbs, split off behind Kelly. From the 4, Kelly wants to throw it, lobs it. It is caught at the 3-yard line, but to no avail. Giuseppe Harris came up with a great play and decked Hobbs. So we're going to get the field goal unit in, and we'll take another look at it. Super play by Giuseppe Harris, not a well-thrown pass.
Well, that secondary and those linebackers are so quick that if you're going to score in this situation, Kelly throwing a Hobbs here, you got to have people running patterns downfield into the end zone because they come up so quickly for the containment.
He did have Beretta in the end zone, but he didn't spot him. Danny Miller, who injured his hamstring this week, is kicking. The holder is LaBelle. Snap set down. The kick is up, and it's good. So the Hurricanes jump on top. We have 11 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The score is Miami 3, Penn State nothing. This is Rick Weaver with Hank Goldberg back at Beaver Stadium. The temperature at kickoff was in the low 40s. It's crisp and a wind very stiff out of the north this afternoon. That drive, 79 yards, 8 plays. Miller, his 10th field goal in 13 attempts from 20 yards for the 3-0 lead. The Hurricanes' key play, 57-yard pass, Kelly to Hobbs. Kelly in that drive, 4 for 4, 73 yards. You just saw young Jeff Davis counting the number of players on the team, and now he has to re-tee the ball to kick off.
And this telecast is presented by the authority of the University of Miami, WCIX-TV, authorized for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the University of Miami and WCIX-TV is prohibited.
Davis, against the wind, hits it high, very short. It bounces inside the 30, and it is a touched. Let's see if it was touched by Penn State, and Miami has come up with a football. So the Hurricanes get a real break on the play. The ball was touched by a Penn State man and went inside the 30-yard line. The Canes came up with it at the 28-yard line.
Well, let's see I'd like to see what happened here if it was in fact touch. It's a free ball if it's kicked off 10 yards. Mike Godecker got down here, and Penn State looked like they had nobody around the football.
That was Chuck Hirschman who came up with the football, or check it, Mike Godecker. Mike Godecker, number 24, came up with the recovery, and the Hurricanes have the football down inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. A free ball, apparently it was not touched. Good special teams coverage by the University of Miami Hurricanes. Now let's see if Kelly can put 6 points on the board. Quick drop. He's got a man open. It is caught by Walker at the 10. He drags a tackler with him inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line. And the tackle made by Mickey Urquhart, the left side cornerback, 19 yards. Let's take another look at Pat Walker, the 6'2", 185 junior receiver out of Auburndale.
Well, Kelly really gets a quick release here. Quick drop, gets rid of the ball quickly, and Walker's isolated down there on one man. That's Urquhart. It's isolated coverage. You can't cover that man one-on-one, Rick.
All right, Walker spread to the top of your screen. Brodsky to the bottom. Canes have the football. First and goal from the 9. Awaiting the snap is Kelly. Hands off on the dive. And banging in over the right side is Smokey Roan. Bruce Clark, the middle guard, did a number on him along with Leo Wisniewski, the defensive right tackle. They'll mark the ball at the 8, a gain of a yard, second down, and 8 yards to go for a score. Brodsky is out. Joyner is in with a play from the bench. So the Hurricanes putting together a good drive, having to settle for a 20-yard field goal to open the ball game. Alert heads-up special team coverage by Mike Godecker. Recovered the ball on the kickoff inside the Penn State 28. Here's Kelly. Lofts at the corner of the end zone. Joyner's got it for a touchdown. Jim Joyner and the Canes jump out 9-0. You ought to see the Hurricanes bench, or you should have seen it when that pass was caught by Joyner in the end zone.
It's the catch and the throw here. Kelly lofts it up just the right altitude, I guess. Joyner goes up. He's real good at that with a man all over his back, and Joyner makes a super reception, and we have a ball game, Rick.
Tom Wise, the junior right cornerback from Washington, PA, was soundly trounced on the play. And it'll be LaBelle holding, and Danny Miller can put the Canes out in front 10-zip. We await the snap. Here it is, set down. The kick is up. It is perfect. So there's a timeout on the field with the score. Miami 10 and Penn State nothing.
That is Jim Joyner lined up against Tom Wise. Now Joyner gives him a little outside move, then he comes back to the inside a little bit, but look at how the ball is just laid in there right into his hands. Perfect pass and a good reception with pressure.
Kelly is 6 out of 6 for 98 yards. That drive, 28 yards, 4 plays. Godecker recovering the kickoff inside the Penn State 30-yard line. And Kelly to Joyner, 8 yards on the TD pass. That for Jim is his second touchdown pass of the year, and for Joyner, his second touchdown reception. 10-0, and the Hurricanes have stunned them. Here's an onside squibber, touched by Wisniewski, and he drops it and falls on top of it inside the 25 at the 24-yard line. So for the first time this afternoon, the mighty Penn State offense comes on with 10:36 left to go in the first quarter. So the Hurricanes defense now, we'll see what they can do with Dale Tate, the junior quarterback, number 17. The running backs will be Mike Gooman, number 24, and Matt Suey, number 32. And there you see the Penn State alignment. The tight end, Brad Scoble, flip-flop, strong side right to left from the Lions' 24-yard line. This is Suey into the middle, and Jim Burt bends him double at about the 26, maybe out to the 27-yard line. Also there was Tim Flanagan. A gain of about 3, and we'll call it second down and 7. Kelly thus far has been absolutely magnificent in his field generalship. Of course, the plays are being called for him, but the execution has been good.
Gooman's in for Booker Moore. We'll talk about that after this play, Rick.
Booker Moore was arrested on campus the other night for driving while under the influence. All right, here is Tate, his first pass, drops to throw, flips it out. Scoble, the tight end, he is out of bounds for a first down up at the Penn State 36-yard line. Brad Scoble, a junior from Wyoming, Pennsylvania. Take another look at it.
Scoble and Donovan are the two people that Tate likes to throw to. He goes off to play action this time from ground level. Just a little swing pass, tight end swing pass out to Scoble, and Scoble turns it upfield. They say Paterno usually doesn't throw early unless he thinks he's got a laugher. I don't think he has a laugher here.
Scott Nicholas ran him out. Scotty's been playing, is playing with the flu. Flu bug has hit the Canes this week. Here's the pitch to Gooman, the tailback, and he drags people with him, running right up to about the 40-yard line. Lester Williams was there. to make the initial contact, and they'll mark it at the 39-yard line, a pickup of 3. And there you see some of the beautiful sights around the Penn State campus.
Gooman and Booker Moore last year shared the tailback position. This year, Gooman was moved to a wingback. Now he's back there because of Moore's situation.
Vito Cab has been replaced as a starter today by Scoble at the tight end on the alignment you just saw. 2nd down and 7. This is Suey, big hole in the middle. He is across the 45, down into Canes territory at the 39, and David Jefferson saved even a bigger gain, wrapping him up from behind. Matt Suey, the brilliant young fullback who has a 5.5 rushing average. Let's take another look at it.
Suey is the 3rd leading rusher right now in Penn State history behind Capoletti and Lydell Mitchell. You see why. He has good acceleration when he gets through the hole and also can run with power.
David Jefferson was the tackler, and here's the same play again. Suey in across the left side, cutting back to his right, gets about 4 down to the 35-yard line. Lester Williams there along with Jim Burt and Scott Nicholas, number 66. The ball at the Hurricanes 35-yard line. A 2nd down and 6 coming up. The Canes jumped on top as Jim Kelly engineered a beautiful drive on the first play, a pass across the middle to Hobbs, and he took it for 57 yards. There you saw the defensive front for the Hurricanes. This is Gooman, a hole on the left side, back to his right, and he is dragged down inside the 30-yard line to about the 28. That's good for another Penn State first down. Mike Gooman.
Good trap blocking up front, as you'll see here from ground level. Scott Nicholas, though, is in position to make the tackle. He's a little weak coming back off of a bad ankle and a flu. A case of influenza, and he missed that tackle, and there was good yardage on the play.
Gooman, a senior out of Bethlehem, PA, at 6'2", 210. First down, Lions at the Canes' 28-yard line. Gooman again over the left side, and the Canes blow him out at the 24, but that good leg drive of his picks up yardage down to the Hurricanes' 24-yard line. First man there for the University of Miami on the defense, Greg Zappala. Freshman in. There you see the linebackers for the Canes. And we do have Moselle Axon with a bad ankle today. Danny Brown scheduled to replace him. 2nd down and 6. The ball at the 24-yard line in Canes territory. Tate on the snap. This is Suey, and he has met at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Excellent hit on the left side by Scott Nicholas, the linebacker. And also over there was young Zappala, who is a freshman, who's filling in for the injured Barry Gonzalez today. Zappala is from this particular part of the country, Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh, PA.
And Nicholas came up there, made an excellent read, good driving tackle on the play.
Now they go to a double wide receiver formation. Scott Hettinger, a senior from West Lawn, PA, is split to the top of your screen. This is Tate. He's going to run with it. Down to the 20. Down to the 15-yard line. He's got a first down. Dale Tate, junior from Springfield, Virginia, at 6'1", 180 pounds. He does not have that good a rushing average, less than a yard per game going in.
Well, what makes him a good rusher in this case is a block that Matt Suey throws on Scott Nicholas over there. You can barely see it there on the ground level, but it was an excellent block by Suey, sprung him upfield.
Another first down, and the Lions gradually pushing the Hurricanes back to the south end of the field. Here's the pitch to Gooman around the left side, back to his right, and he is buried at about the 12, maybe the 13-yard line. Pickup of about 2 yards on the play, and the first man to make contact over there for the Hurricanes was Scott Nicholas again.
Here's how Penn State kills you. This takes the life out of you because they can control the ball on the ground this way. Go ahead, Rick.
And there you see the Penn State key people who will be handling the football. Watch Donovan when they throw. He is the primary receiver. And a good one, number 19. And he is split to the bottom of your screen. From the 13-yard line, 2nd down and 8. Play fake by Tate. He's in trouble. Throws deep in the end zone. Man open. It's no good. Going for Scoble, the tight end. That pass was thrown a little bit high because the pressure was being exerted on Tate by the Miami defense. Marion was the back covering Scoble.
Well, Marion's trying to take away that post area for as far as the pattern is concerned by Scoble. He gets a good drop there, beaten momentarily, but comes up, and notice how he makes sure that Scoville's not in the end zone with a chance to make the reception.
3rd down and 8 for the Nittany Lions from the Canes 13. Miami with a heads-up offensive and special teams play thus far, lead 10-0. Big play for Tate. Here's Gooman over the right side. He's going to score. He is in for the touchdown. Good blocking off the right side of the Penn State forward wall. And most particularly, Herb Pankey, the senior right tackle, and Mike Munchak, the big sophomore right guard from Scranton. We'll take another look at the touchdown run by Mike Gooman.
Well, that's Joe Paterno on the sidelines as you look at the Penn State bench, and apparently we're not going to get the replay right away. Here's the extra point attempt.
Donovan will hold. And this is Herb Menhart, who will try the point. Snap, set down, a kick is up, and it's perfect. So it goes to 10-7 with 5 minutes and 43 seconds left. Menhart is perfect on his extra point conversions this year, 25 out of 25.
Well, Penn State just scores. Mike Gooman, touchdown. Is the defense going to tackle at all today?
Let me tell you something. Really? They had a Hall of Fame team there. I'm telling you. Sean Farrell, Mike Munchak, Jim Romano, Pankey. They had Vito. Every one of them played 10, 12 years in the league. And then you had Suey, and you had Mike Gooman, who played running back for the Rams and then the Bears. They had. I don't know how we won that game. I really don't. They were fantastic players on that team.
Right. Hank Goldberg mentions about they only throw it when they think they're going to beat the team. So they're definitely going to pound the run today.
They were in a goal line stance the whole time. They came rolling off the ball, and thank God we had Jim.
Well, yeah, great offensive start, though. I mean, your first pass, nice big play there. Yeah. I like those. The short little passes go for 57 yards.
Well, it wasn't quite designed that way, but when you're going into the game, Don Bailey was a freshman center, of course, myself. I wasn't as comfortable as I probably would have been if I would have started the first 7 games, but that was one where dropping back, and I had a heavy rush, and I think it was Chris Hobbs right in front of me. I dumped it off, and to be honest with you, I think that might be the play where I dislocated my jaw. Larry Cuban, he got me good. Helmet to helmet right in the jaw, and I had to put my own jaw back in place, and it still pops from that hit. Thanks. But, that was the start of a great game.
Yeah, and good game plan. And now, was the onside or the pooch kick by design, or was that just a freak of nature?
That was kicked into a great northern wind. It was a rainy day up there. I kept my street clothes on because I didn't have any gear. Coaching gear that I could wear, so I left my top coat on.
Nice trench coat.
That's the reason why I now wear a suit coat each practice.
Coach, you're supposed to say this was by design.
No, it wasn't by design. Obviously it wasn't, and God takes care of fools, drunks, and coaches, and the ball hit the ground and did a backward hop, like you do with those 7 irons. Mm-hmm. And
I do that all the time, my wedge.
Some of us.
And we recovered it, and that would put us in a position to make that next run for the touchdown.
Well, now I did love the trench coat though, because obviously you've stepped it up. Now you go to the suit. Joe Paterno wears the same thing. He looked exactly the same in 1979.
No, he wears a half sweater and a tie.
Oh, he does? It's Paterno? Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think he does. You're right.
Is he still wearing the spot-built shoes, though? I'm not sure.
Well, he rolls his pants up a lot, and he's got on white socks. He's got his athletic socks on.
Now, at this point of the game, you're 3-4 coming in this ball game. Could you imagine a better start for Miami in this game?
No, except that we could have got that first touchdown in. That would have been certainly a great feat. But it was wonderful that we did get a couple of breaks in the beginning, and obviously a team as big an underdog as we were in this game needs a little help. And our players played as hard as they could play. They played as hard as they could play, and we played hard enough. We played well enough to win.
Well, it's an exciting start, and off to certainly a exciting upset here in the making. So when we come back, we'll have the rest of the first quarter of this 1979 University of Miami and Penn State University game.
So the Lions come roaring back, and the score now is 10-7, and the Canes are going to have to do it again because that evens it up in a big fat hurry. 5 minutes 43 seconds left to go in the first quarter. The Lions go to North Carolina State at Raleigh next week, and the Hurricanes have an open date before hitting the road again against Alabama 2 weeks from today at Tuscaloosa. There you see Franco, the kickoff specialist. And back for the Hurricanes, Bentley, number 39, and Joyner, number 13. Franco will have the wind to his back. 10-7. Miami breaking on top and shoving the Nittany Lions all over the field. Here is the short kick. Joyner, 5, 20, slips and falls as he starts to make his cut. It's contained at the 21-yard line. First man down was Tom Barr. an offensive back who also plays on special teams. The Hurricanes start from their 21-yard line. We'll take another look at the Penn State touchdown.
Well, you're going to see Gooman get the ball, and watch the blocks that Rick was talking about early. Big number 78 there. Mike Munchak throws a good one, and just good leg drive by Gooman gets him in the end zone.
Kelly has Hobbs and Roan as the split backs in behind him. Hurricanes lead 10-7 from their 21. He will throw the split hitch pattern out to the far side. Joyner, 30, 35, up across the 39-yard line and out of bounds there to Lance Mell. That is called, in the terminology of Earl Morrill, the split hitch, and he handles the quarterbacks for the U of M.
Well, here's Kelly. He throws it out to Joyner. I think the defense is laying back a little bit as you see Joyner take off, because last week Miami ran this play with Walker throwing the ball, and I think Penn State was conscious of it, and that's what enabled them to get the yardage on the play.
Kelly having a Bob Greasy type afternoon, 7 out of 7. First down, Canes at their 39. Backs are split, so are the receivers. Kelly on the draw. This is Roan. He gets outside. 40, 45, puts his head down and rams his way up to the 47-yard line. Tom Wise, the cornerback, rode him to the turf after an 8-yard pickup. It has been said, and somewhat truthfully, that the Canes do not have a great running game inside, but these two backs, Hobbs and Roan, once they get that corner turn, can really pick him up and lay him down. Second down and 2 for Miami.
And he had Gary Breckner in there who threw a good block on that play. He's out now.
Backs in an eye, and Joyner splits off the top of the screen. Walker to the bottom. Second down and 2. Roan and Hobbs are the split backs. Kelly, quick drop. Goes across the middle. It is dropped by the tight end, Andy Beretta. Freshman out of Philadelphia, PA at 6'3", 220 pounds.
Penn State has made a defensive adjustment. They're not conscious of that inside area there where Beretta ran that last pattern. They have gone from more of a 5-2 alignment to a 4-4, Rick.
Andy Beretta, as we said earlier, very actively recruited by Joe Paterno here at Penn State. Third down and 2 now. Backs remain the same, and they split off. Kelly sneaks and gets the first down to about the 45-yard line. Steve Griffiths, the outside linebacker, makes the tackle. Kelly, of course, has a lot of his fans and family here. Let's take another look.
He shows good gamesmanship here, Rick. He's only a freshman. I think he looked around, saw that alignment, and saw some room to run, checked off, and ran it up the middle.
I tell you, this kid Bailey is doing a number on Clark so far. Bailey, just a freshman out of Hialeah, Miami Lakes, 6'3", 230 pounds. Filling in for the injured John Fenton. First down, Canes at the Nittany Lions 45. Breckner is in there now as one of the running backs. Kelly will put it up. Deep drop. They're in on him, and he's going to have to eat it. They played wishbone with him that time. Larry Kubin, the left end, number 74, and Greg Jones, number 99, the left tackle, and they mark it all the way back to the 45-yard line in Hurricanes territory.
Well, Kubin is a monster. He's one of the 4 outstanding defensive players on this Penn State team. He gets in there, but I think it was the pressure by number 99, Greg Jones, the defensive tackle, who really made the play.
That is the 10th sack of the season for Kubin. Second down and 19. Hurricanes ball back at their 45. Miami leads 10-7. We have 3:41 left to go in the first quarter. Canes jumped on top 10-0. Kelly will put it up again. Throws it into a pack of people, including the official, and they pick up a yard out of it to the 46-yard line. Lance Mell is the man who made the tackle.
Lance Mell made a play that shows you why he's called the best inside linebacker. Jerry Sandusky's been turning out linebackers here at Penn State for 11 years. Inside ones, which include people like John Scorpion, Kurt Alleman, Greg Buttle, Jack Ham, and Dave Robinson, I guess, are the 2 best ones who ever went here, but they were outside linebackers.
The Canes have the football at their 46, 3rd and 18. They are 1 out of 2 in third down conversion. Hobbs and Roan are the splitbacks behind Kelly. He will drop deep, blitz on. He loops it upfield. Walker is down there. He can't hold on to it at the 20. There's a flag. Or is there? At the 20-yard line. Thought I saw something yellow go up in the air, but apparently I was mistaken. Giuseppe Harris is the man who was back there with him, but Mel, the middle linebacker, was blitzing on the play. It's amazing that Kelly got the ball as much on target as he did with Mel staring him right in the face, Hank.
That's right, and there's nobody in the backfield who can throw a block. That puts added pressure on that freshman center, Bailey, and Mel came through unmolested. Kelly really showed a lot of guts.
LaBelle kicking against the wind from the 30, Rakowski. Terry Rakowski, a single safety. Bad snap. He gets one out of there, rather short against the wind. They let it bounce down at the 25, and it's going to be down at the 25-yard line. A 29-yard kick. 29-yard kick. Donald Bailey downs it. Let's take another look at that Walker almost reception.
Well, this ball was just thrown up in the air, and Walker had to run under it because Kelly had no choice. He was under such pressure from Mel, and Walker almost comes up with the reception. Just an excellent play. The problem was there that I believe Mickey Urquhart got there. That is Mickey Urquhart. See how quick those linebackers are? He's a linebacker. Kept pace with Walker.
The ball at the 26-yard line, as Tate will try to get something started again for Penn State with 2:43 left to go in the quarter. Play fake, wants to go right side, got a man open, and a flag goes down as the reception is made by Tom Donovan, the wide receiver off the near side, but the flag was thrown by the line judge on the near side of the field. Now we'll see what this is all about. There you see Fred Marion talking with the man. There was not a defender close to Donovan.
No, but there was a second receiver in the area who may have been ineligible.
That's right, and that's exactly what it was. Ineligible receiver upfield or downfield, as you apply the terminology, and Penn State will lose the game and will be assessed the penalty. There you see the Penn State bench. Joe Paterno lost one game here this year. This team coming in with a record of 5-2. They don't lose very many at home. That's Dale Tate Jr., the quarterback from Springfield, Virginia. And referee Thammert marches off the penalty, which will set it back to about the 13-yard line. That's referee Thammert, and ineligible receiver downfield. So it'll be a first down and 23 for Penn State. The ball back at their 13-yard line. The Hurricanes lead 10-7. A 79-yard drive opened the scoring with the Canes getting a field goal out of it. This is the Suey, the fullback, hits into the middle, gets to the 15-yard line before he is met by Brown, Lester Williams, and also on the stop, Bob Nelson. Ball is marked at the 15-yard line. Second down coming up and 21. Canes with a 20-yard field goal by Danny Miller, culminating a 79-yard drive at 8 plays. And then Kelly DeJoyner, an 8-yard touchdown pass after special teams had come up with a loose kickoff inside the Penn State 30. Gooman scored 13 yards. Pitch to Gooman outside to the left. He is hemmed in, breaks the tackle, gets out across the 20 to the 25-yard line. That'll bring up a third down and about 11.
If you're watching this game back in Miami, call your friends. We didn't think we were going to see this kind of a ball game. Canes playing good defense now to go with the offense.
Well, a key third down conversion coming up for Penn State with 1 minute and 43 seconds to go in the first quarter. Let's call it 3rd and 12 now as they mark the ball back at the 24-yard line. And the Canes are going to have the wind advantage to their back for the second quarter. Here's Tate, drops the throw, not much of a rush, loops it out. That's Suey out of the backfield. He's at the 30 and is rolled out of bounds, short of the first down at the 33. So the punting unit will come on, and the Canes will get the football back as that penalty really hurt. We'll take another look at the throw to Suey.
Nicholas made a very good play here. You see, it's just a straight drop back pass to Suey coming out of the backfield. Suey catches it, and you see Nicholas, number 66. He was the first to see what that play was and got over there in a hurry.
All right, here is the punter, Giacamero, and he bangs a long high spiral. Backs Marion up. He grabs the ball on the first bounce at the 13. Up the sidelines. It's going to be run out of bounds in the vicinity of the 20-yard line. That ball was kicked 52 yards with the wind to his back by Ralph Giacamero. Dan Biondi downfield to make the tackle on special teams for Penn State. The Hurricanes do not have good field position. They rule him out at the 18-yard line. So let's see if young Mr. Kelly can do it again.
Well, it's still 10-7, Miami over Penn State. We're going to skip a UM punt and a couple plays that Penn State runs out the first quarter. But right now, let's talk a little bit more with Coach Schnellenberger, and let's go back to 1979 and your decision to become the University of Miami head coach. Kind of what was involved in that process?
Well, it was a strange thing. I was coaching offensive coordinator with the Dolphins. I had a great job. Everything was good, living in Miami Lakes. No reason to think about going somewhere else. I get a call from a writer named Long. He wanted to know if I would be interested in the Miami job, and my immediate reaction was, no, I don't want to go to Miami. It's a graveyard for coaches. They have no esprit de corps down there. They don't do anything well. And let it go at that. And about that 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, my wife, Beverly, comes in from the hairdresser, and I told her about the situation, and she looked at me like I was goofy and said, well, how much were they going to pay you? And I said, $75,000. Well, that was $25,000 more than I was making. They were giving me a car and a radio show. And she said, by the way, you're not ever going to get another job in the National Football League as a head coach because of my situation with Bob Irsay. So I said, Beverly, you're right. I think I better call them back. So I did call them back, and obviously I took the job, and we lived happily ever after.
Well, and talk about your press conference, because
Well, the press conference was later, because I didn't know that when I turned the job down, or before I had turned the job down, they had voted, their trustees had voted to drop their football team from Division I to Division I AA, because they tried to get James from out at Washington. He was a quarterback from Miami to take the job, and he had turned it down. And so had the coach from Vanderbilt, who had a great year. He had been a quarterback there as well. So if they couldn't get their own people to come back, it meant it was pretty bad. And knowing that they had voted to go back to the Division I AA, and then after I took the job, the 5-year contract, they said, we'll table that motion for 5 years to see what happens. Well, I knew the University of Miami had a terrible self-confidence problem. That they were down in the dumps about everything. And I knew I better do something dramatic, so I called a press conference and to set out our game plan. And the game plan was to win the national championship in 5 years, and almost guaranteed it.
And he did it.
And he did it. Well, you assembled a great coaching staff. And I know for you, Earl Morrall, legendary quarterback, a long time with the Dolphins and in the NFL, and he was your quarterback's coach?
Yeah, for me, to be honest with you, just to go a little step back, is I was recruited by Lou Saban, like Jim was. And for me, it was a blessing when Coach Howard Schnellenberger became the coach at the University of Miami. And with him, Earl Morrall. I mean, what more can a quarterback ask for than a pro-style offense that he brought, and a quarterback coach that played in the NFL, was the quarterback that took him to the undefeated season in 1972, and a guy that taught me how to throw the football. I mean, how to put air under the ball and not always throw it on the line, how to read defenses, and it was pretty much a blessing in disguise for me, because I never knew what the situation was going to be. After the first year, when Lou Saban decided to go somewhere else, I was going to transfer to Tennessee. And my oldest brother, Pat, told me, hold on, find out who they're going to bring in. And, of course, they brought Coach Schnellenberger in, and, of course, Coach Morrall, and the rest is history. Yeah,
well, I'm sure he set fundamentals in place for your Hall of Fame NFL career. So,
well, he did a lot. I loved him on the field during practice, but after practice, we used to run the gassers. And, of course, some of those quarterbacks were brought in to run the option because of Lou Saban. And I was one of those pocket quarterbacks, and I never made it to gassers in time. I always had to run extra. That's the only thing I didn't like about Coach Morrall.
And, Jim, you had Harold Allen on the defensive line.
Harold and Larry Seipel. I mean, just the credibility from the Dolphins. The Dolphins were one of the best organizations in football, so the credibility was there. And then, we had Harold Allen, he brought All-American after All-American. That was the forte of the program, was the defensive line and the defense. They never really could get the offense together. And Coach Schnellenberger coached in the Super Bowls with Miami. The credibility was there, so he brought the pro-style offense and tailor-fit to Jim Kelly. So that was it.
One of the things that never has been really talked about very much is I kept the defensive staff intact because they had done so well the year before. And I brought my entire offense in there virtually. And I wanted to build on what you all had done and what Lou had done. A lot of coaches come in, they want to tear down everything that's been done in there, but Lou and the defensive staff really had done a great job. You remember, you may not have remembered, I had a party for all the seniors that left the year that I came in, and I asked Lou to come down and talk to them because I wanted to honor them and for the guys that were coming back. But he did do a tape for us and sent it down, and telling the boys to follow me and let's go. Y'all will go get it done. And I thought that was a key element in us playing so well so early.
Yeah, the defense, no matter what they say about University of Miami, the defense had a lot of pride. They had a lot of great coaches. Arnie Romero, Rick Lance, you remember a lot of the guys. Right. They had a lot of pride, and that was the strength of the Miami defense.
Bill Trout.
Bill Trout too, right?
Sure. It was always the backbone of the championship seasons too. Yeah. So we'll be back with the second quarter of this Gridiron Great, Miami versus Penn State.
Okay, they've got Andy Barata at the tight end, Stewart, Picorni, Bailey, Hayes, and Grady, the interior of the offensive line, and Walker and Joyner the wide receivers, Roan and Hobbs are the running backs as they split off behind quarterback Jim Kelly, who has had some kind of a day so far. He wants to throw it. The bomb, far sideline, Walker, he can't hold it at the 45-yard line. Good play by Urquhart, and a flag goes down. Flag goes down on the far side. Let's see who it's going to be against. It's going to be an interference call. We have had no indication as to who it's going to be against. It's going to be against Penn State, presumably. And we'll give the Hurricanes a first down at the Lions' 44-yard line. We'll take another look at it. Urquhart, number 36 on Walker.
Well, here you see the play action and a good throw by Kelly. Now they're going step for step, and there must have been some bumping down there. You see Urquhart, and I think what happens here is that Walker just tries to cut it in front of him. I thought Urquhart had position on him, and maybe the fans are a little justified.
46 yards on the gain on the pass defense penalty against Penn State. So the Canes continue to come up with the breaks, and Penn State is keeping itself back in a hole on somewhat foolish penalties. All right, Walker and Joyner are split to the bottom of the screen from the 44-yard line. Fans still booing. Here's Kelly, puts his head down and rams his way down to about the 41-yard line before he is smothered by blue shirts. You hear that growling in the background. That's what they put on the PA system here. It is not Hank Goldberg's tummy. It is the Nittany Lion. Greg Jones, number 99, made the tackle on the last play. Kelly is big enough to run to that football. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He got to mark it at the 42-yard line, so give him a gain of 2, second down and 8. Pass interference on Urquhart. Interfering with Walker's right to catch the ball. Here's the play fake by Kelly. He's got a man open down the near side. Brodsky, he's got it out of bounds at the 2-yard line. And Jim Kelly is slicing up the Lions like a noted surgeon. 40 yards on the pass completion, as we'll take another look at it. Young Larry Brodsky out of Hialeah, Miami Lakes.
Brodsky runs a real good pattern here. What he did was he changed speed about halfway down his pattern and gets wide open between, really, he beat 2 defenders down the sideline. And Kelly, you see his stats, 9 out of 14, 160 yards.
He got a lot of pressure from Cuban, number 74, and shoved him off balance, but the pass was already gone and it had done its damage. First and goal down at the 2-yard line. Great catch by Brodsky. And a well-thrown football by Kelly. His statistics today are going to be outstanding. Breckner is in there. Here's the handoff to Roan, digging for yardage. It was not a good handoff. And he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. He was almost by the time Kelly got the ball to him.
Well, they had a little bit of a stun on by Penn State. The linebackers came up, showed the blitz, then actually performed the blitz. And I think that stunt just threw the timing off in the backfield for Miami a little bit.
Kelly is 9 out of 14 for 157 yards. Has already thrown 1 touchdown pass to Joyner this afternoon. Walker goes out. Ball is at the 2-yard line. Second down and goal. We have 12:55 to go in the half. Canes lead 10-7. Knocking on the door again. They've got double tight ends up front. Joyner split to the top of your screen. Here's the pitch. Fumble! At the 7-yard line, Penn State. Let's see if they have it. Jim Kelly comes up with a football. Almost a disaster at the 7-yard line. Gene Gladys was battling him for the ball. Greg Jones also. I don't know about tossing the ball around there close to the goal line.
I don't either, Rick. I agree with you. But one thing about Kelly, he has great awareness, doesn't he? He covered that football. He saw it loose and jumped right on it.
Good basketball player, but should have called it for a double dribble. The ball at the 7-yard line. Third down and goal from the 7. Baxton and I Hobbs and Roan. Big call here for the Hurricanes. And we're going to get a flag toss. Too much time again, as occurred earlier in the contest when the Hurricanes got in close. I think that's what it is about. As the flag was tossed back in the end zone by the judge who keeps the time down on the field.
That's the second time this has happened to the Canes when they've gotten down in close. They got down to the 2-yard line, 2-yard loss to the 4, and then had 5 stepped off on a previous series.
All right, the penalty puts the ball back to the 12. Stops the clock with 12:04 left to go in the first half. The Hurricanes making a few errors now as they get in close to the goal line. All coaches and all teams work on this drill constantly throughout the week, but still you get mistakes. Brodsky split to the top of the screen, Walker to the bottom. Roan and Hobbs the split backs from the 12. Kelly will put it up. They're after him. Here's the pass to Roan, and he is decked at about the 18-yard line. Super play by Steve Griffiths, and Clark was really putting the pressure on Kelly that time. Now let's watch it again.
Had pressure on everybody. Pressure on Kelly from the linebackers. You see Clark, rather, the middle guard, and then you see number 52. That's Steve Griffiths. He was right there. He saw that play all the way. Here's another angle on it. That's Walker running a pattern there that you see. That was a primary receiver, and he had to throw it off to Rome.
All right, Miller will try the field goal. LaBelle will hold from the 26 to 36-yard attempt. Danny's longest to 47. He kicked one earlier of 20. Snap, set down. Kick is up. He's got the distance on it. It's good. So Miller puts the Hurricanes on top now by 6 points with 11:06 left to go in the first half. The score is Miami 13, Penn State 7.
Well, now it's 13-7, Miami over Penn State. And Jim, you're kind of airing it out on that drive.
Yeah, it was something I really didn't think about going into the game. I was just thinking about coming out healthy.
Yeah.
And, of course, there were a couple defenses. They rolled the corners up. And not all the time. I always think about going deep to Larry Brodsky, maybe Pat Walker or Jimmy Joyner. But, yeah, there were a couple good passes during the course of that drive.
Well, and you benefited from the pass interference. You like that call, huh, Jim?
You know, as usual, the offense gets all the advantage. That was a terrible call, but thank God it worked for us.
Yeah, that's
Remember,
right.
the offense is on our side.
No, thank God for that.
And from a strategy standpoint going to this game, did you see anything where you felt like Walker could get behind the defense?
Well, we thought first of all we could protect Jim. We used 50 protection, which is the maximum protection, but it's 3-step drop, and most of the passes that we threw they were 3-step drop. And they were trying to play cover 2, which is a sophisticated coverage for somebody like Penn State that doesn't play it very often. And Jim was able to split that corner coming up to the safety, hit the fade area to Joyner once and to Larry Brodsky one time as well. But no, we were going to throw. We didn't put Kelly in the game because we wanted to run Hobbs and whoever else was our fullback.
Smoky Roan.
Smoky Roan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cover 2, I mean, that's usually a kind of a pass defense. I mean, did they have any clue on expecting Jim to play this game?
No, but they saw him out.
Including myself.
They saw him out there for a quarter, and they started mixing their defense. They now had 2 defenses they could play against us.
And what was funny about that, if you watch the game, Coach, is nowadays, when is the last time you saw a wide receiver in a 3-point stance?
Oh, that was so cool.
The first time I saw it, it's like, you got to be kidding me. I can't. Yeah. I started laughing when I saw that. Here are our wide receivers, Pat Walker, everybody to 3-point stance.
I'll tell you what, if my guys don't get down the field very fast, I put them down again, and I threaten to put them down, and they get their butt off the ground, off the field.
Yeah, they don't like being down there.
You ever see, you watch them, if they take a false step, they take a step backwards, you got to put them down so they learn how to come off without taking a backward step.
That's why you were a coach. A great one with that.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Jim.
Well, it's 13-7 Miami. We'll be back with the rest of the second quarter in this Gridiron Great, Miami versus Penn State. We pick up action later in the second quarter as Penn State has taken the ensuing kickoff and driven all the way down to the Miami 42. It's 1st and 10, Nittany Lions.
Has his backs in an eye. Here's the pitch to Gooman. Follows a block from Suey. He's got a hole, and out of bounds he goes. Down inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Brad Scoble, the tight end, threw a dandy block out in front of him. And they'll mark it down at the 32. That is a first down again for Penn State. We'll take another look at this.
Watch Scoville block. Watch Munchik's block, number 78. He clears out a couple of people, as Rick called it. Just excellent blocking up front on that sweep.
Newman, a 5.6 average on the ground. Penn State has an excellent drive going here, much similar to the earlier drive in which they scored. Here's Suey, trap block over the right side. He's got a hole, and he's down to the 25-yard line. Sean Farrell, the left guard, pulled and did a dandy job out in front. And they will mark it down at the 25-yard line. So again, the running game of Penn State is chewing up big hunks of yardage on first and second down.
Suey needed 151 yards to pass John Capoletti today, and so far he has 55.
Second and 3, McCain's 25. Gooman has tripped up. Super play by the defense over there, back at the 30-yard line. He was actually hit. Third down and 5 at the Canes' 27-yard line. Big play here. This is Gooman, and he's not going to make it. He gets to the 24-yard line, if indeed he got that far. Trying to run over left guard. Munchik was trying to open a hole, and the Canes prevented it. They mark it at the 25, and looks like they're going to go for it on fourth down. And a long two. Moselle Axon comes in at linebacker spot. That's McCluskey, number 91, youngster out of Philadelphia. The ball is at the Hurricanes' 25. Here is the big play of the first half for the Hurricanes defense. Fourth and a long two from the 25. Pitch out. Suey. He's got the first down. And he had a good block out in front of him over there. Thrown by number 57, Pete Kugler, the left tackle. A first down for Penn State.
That blocking on the offensive right side is just awesome. Here you see Suey on the pitch out, but you see how quickly they get out there. And 3 Hurricanes come over to make the stop, but they get the necessary yardage. I remember the line now. He said, stay down until late. And if the guy says, what time is it now, he knows he's in trouble.
13-7 Miami leads. Here's the inside handoff to Gooman. Inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. Good bit of faking by Tate to Suey going right and then hit the tailback. Gooman coming back the other way.
Well, Gooman's a good runner inside. This inside running game of Penn State's is really getting it going, mainly through that misdirection blocking. That's why you see such a big hole there. And Gooman, 13 carries, 61 yards.
Ball down at the 13-yard line, 2nd and 4 for a first down. This is Gooman. Super play by the defense. They bend him double at the 15-yard line. And the man who made the contact for Miami, and just an outstanding tackle, was Tim Flanagan from the outside defensive end spot from Woodbridge, Virginia. The ball back at the 15-yard line, 3rd down and 6. And those penalties on those 2 touchdown drives, which had to be settled, culminated in field goals for the Hurricanes. Penalties down in close, beginning to show up. Here's the play fake. Tate back to throw. Has time. Lost in the end zone. Scoble wide open, and he just overthrew him. Brad Scoble, a tight end, was wide. Smack dab open. Nobody within 5 yards of him. Broken coverage for the Canes on defense, and the ball was thrown too high. Let's take another look.
Well, you're going to see a couple of things here. You might see Hettinger get a little tied up here with Gene Coleman. I don't know if you can or not on the replay, but you see the ball overthrown for Scoble. Nobody near him. Coleman was the man who was supposed to cover, and Hettinger tripped him on the near side of the field.
Menhart, 7 out of 13. Will try the field goal from the 21. It'll be a 31-yard attempt. That's good. So with 3 minutes and 46 seconds left to go, the first half, there's a timeout on the field. We'll be back after these messages.
Well, we'll skip Miami and a Penn State punt, and then Miami runs out the quarter to end the first half. It's 13-10 at halftime. And the plays that we missed there, Jim Burt, you actually take a pretty good shot, get knocked out there.
Yeah, it was one of my 1,000 dingers I've had. You know,
that explains it.
Most of them were spring practice with Coach Schnellenberger. But yeah, it was a little sweep, and I got a little dung. But you know, I came back after the second half.
Well, you know, if that would happen now, they would rule you out. You couldn't play with 3 stingers.
I'd have to fake it then.
Well, now you came from Orchard Park. How'd you get to UM?
Well, that was Jim's first action was Orchard Park, and it was where he won all the Super Bowls. I grew up in Orchard Park, and so Lou Saban was the Buffalo Bills coach at the time, and he quit or got fired or whatever from the Buffalo Bills, and he came down to Miami. So I just followed them down to Miami. I was smart. Instead of going in the snow, I came in the warm weather.
Now you're back up in the snow.
Now I'm back in the snow.
And did you continue to look at the kids up in the Northeast when you took over?
No, when I looked at Jim and saw that he came from up there, I kind of thought maybe I'd better go back. But then I saw a couple of the others that I had brought back, and no, we'll stay right here in South Florida. We'll form the state of Miami, and we'll get the best players from that state of Miami, and we'll take on the world. Any place, anywhere, anytime. Parking lot, practice field, stadium, didn't make any difference.
Well, it seems like in college football that strategy has been replicated many times over as all these northern schools come down here now. So.
And the funny thing about it is we were just talking, back in the day, there was just Miami, Florida, and Florida State. Now you got those three schools. You got Central Florida, South Florida, and, of course, Florida Atlantic University. Now, is there enough talent in this state to handle all the great colleges?
Can I answer that question?
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
310 young men will sign Division I scholarships to play this year. The 7 state schools can take less than 150 because on average you take about 15 a year. So all these other guys have to get on an airplane and search the country wide to find a place to play football. So the best ones want to stay at home, and that's the reason why we have a better opportunity to win here early than anybody else.
Sounds like he has done his homework.
Well, we'll give him a chance to talk a little bit more about FAU later on. But right now, it's going to be back with the second half, this Gridiron Great 1979 Miami versus Penn State. Penn State has taken the kickoff to start the second half and has driven the ball into Miami territory. It's 1st and 10 at the Miami 34-yard line.
From the Canes' 34-yard line. The pitch to Suey. Lester Williams wraps him up after a gain of a yard. Good pursuit by the big youngster from
Lester Williams on the tackle.
From Carroll City. Lester Williams at 6'3", 255, a sophomore. The most sought-after high school player in the state of Florida a couple of years ago.
Matt is the 4th member of the Suey family to play here at Penn State. His father was All-American in 1947, and he had 2 brothers who played here as well.
Ball just inside the 33. We'll call it 2nd down and 8. Receivers both split to the bottom part of the screen. Here's the handoff to Goodman. Big hole in the middle. He squirts through down to about the 25-yard line. They handed it that football, and again, the misdirection blocking at the line of scrimmage allowed it to work and get to the 25-yard line, just a yard shy of a first down. We'll take another look at it.
Well, this is going to look like a lot of replays we've seen this afternoon because Penn State's been very successful running it. And the play is actually away from where you're looking right now. That was the misdirection blocking that you saw.
Munchak, the right guard, who's a dandy. 3rd down and 1 from the Canes' 25. Great ball control drive here by the Lions. Suey through the middle. He's got the first down again, down to the 21-yard line. Mr. Bread and Butter, he ran right over Sean Farrell, a sophomore left guard from West Hampton, New York. There you, if you could hear it, the Nittany Lion growling on the PA system in the background. We'll watch Farrell now. Watch number 62.
He just pulls and gets to the his outside and trying to clear out a little space for Suey to run.
First down from the Hurricanes' 21-yard line. Miami leads 13-10, but it's a little bit precarious right now. The inside handoff again on the misdirection to Gubin. Gubin bangs his way down to the 19-yard line.
That's the first time that they've had any semblance of running to the left offensive side of their line at all this afternoon. I can see why they haven't been doing it too often. It's been jammed.
Ball at the 19 with a 2nd down and 8 call coming up for Tate. First time I heard that Nittany Lion on the PA system here this afternoon, I thought it was the Orange Bowl sound system. I didn't know that was the sound effect here. McCloskey, a wingman, a tight end off the right side. Here's the pitch to Gilman, and he is dragged down from behind. Super play by Flanagan. That's the 2nd time that he has done that this afternoon. Tim Flanagan, the youngster out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Gilman never really got it developed. As they'll mark it back at the 22-yard line, there is a flag on the play, tossed to the far side. And we're going to get illegal procedure, the call, against the Penn State Nittany Lions.
The penalty is against Penn State. Illegal procedure.
The ball is marked at the 22-yard line. Now, if the Canes decide, there's Howard on the sideline with Rick Lance over there, Arnie Romero, and the rest of the Hurricanes coaching staff. The option still being explained by referee Thammert to Freddie Marion. Illegal procedure, the call against Penn State. The Canes will decline it and take the down instead. Third down coming up. And I'll call it 11. They've got 12 on the scoreboard, but it's 11.
And they really have to throw here, and they've thrown so little in the ball game that I wonder about how they'll be timed up.
They've held the ball for 7 minutes and still are at the 22-yard line. Tate, deep drop. They're after him. Pumps, throws it to Goldman, and a super play by the defense. Tim Flanagan, number 90 again. What a play by Flanagan. That was a key call. A loss on the play of 2 more yards, so it brings up 4th down.
Flanagan has done some job in containing all the plays to the outside this afternoon. He's been in there on the bootleg plays. Now he's in there against Gooman, who you see catching the ball. Gooman pays dearly. Flanagan right there to kiss him.
They're going to go for it. 4th down. Let's see. This should be an interesting call. 4th and 13. They have to get it down to the 11-yard line. Tate will put it up. Pass across the middle. Receiver is knocked down. We're going to get pass interference on Fred Marion at the 10-yard line. Unfortunate for the Hurricanes. It was intended for Hettinger. He couldn't have caught the ball anyway. It was thrown too high, and this allows Penn State a life. Let's take another look at it. Nicholas was also back there. Now watch Marion.
Well, let's watch, because Axon's over there too. And Marion comes over. Here's the play, and it's Mose Axon knocks him down. And Marion comes up a little bit late. Unfortunate play, really puts the Canes in a hole. Here's another angle on it. And you see Axon, I think he just ran into him. Looked like a collision, Rick.
Right. Was Moselle Axon. The defensive pass interference, an automatic first down, allows Penn State a life. The pass was incomplete, but Axon ran into the receiver. Marion was there. The penalty was called on Axon. Ball at the 11. Let's see what they can do with it. Here's Gooman, and he is going no place. And guess who was there? David Jefferson, number 30. The ball popped out of there, but the officials had called it dead, so they mark it back at the 17, a loss of 6. And what a tremendous defensive effort by the Hurricanes here, except for that one unfortunate penalty against Moselle Axon.
And Jefferson on that play beat Mike Munchak, who was 6'3", 252 pounds. And Jefferson overpowered him to make the stop.
Jefferson is no midget at 6'3", 217 pounds from the safety spot. Ball back at the 17, 2nd down and 16 for a first down. Tate under pressure. He fires. It is intercepted. Down at the goal line, and falling into the end zone is Coleman for the touchback, and the Hurricanes stop him and will get the ball out of their 20-yard line. Gene Coleman leaped high in the air, and Tate will take another look at it, but look at the pressure he was under trying to get that ball away.
That's right. Lester Williams was in on him, and Tate makes a bad throw here in his effort to get it away. Bird also in on him, but he had Tracy Hall open, and he underthrew him, and an outstanding defensive play by number 25, Gene Coleman.
That is the 11th pass interception of the year for the Hurricanes. We'll be back in just a moment. Miami 13, Penn State 10.
I guess that's a perfect example of a bend but don't break defense, huh, Jimmy?
Well, it was a long game. They had a lot of great players. They were in a goal line stance the whole game, and they were pounding us. And they took us a little lightly though, because when we needed to, we gave. But we didn't break. And Gene Coleman made some great plays, and Scott Nicholas, and a lot of guys got Tim Flanagan. A lot of guys come up and stepped up in that game, and because they lived in that area, a lot of guys were recruited from there. And you know, along with Jimmy, everyone had a little personal thing about with Paterno and Penn State and all the players. It was a great win for us.
Yeah, well, Coach, you mentioned you kept the defensive coaching staff intact, and the defensive mentality, the same system intact as well.
Well, it was, and we obviously we didn't change any terminology, but it was still our defense, and the adjustments we made were not vast things, weren't big adjustments, but we tailored it to what we believed in, and of course our practices were different because of the style that we had played coming out of the National Football League.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jim, do you really remember this? Because I think you probably had to miss a few helmets. What was the deal? They didn't let you go back in the game? They hid your helmet on you?
Just for a couple plays, they hid my helmet, and I was going to grab someone else's helmet. So, okay, take your helmet. Actually, the helmet got cracked in that game, and I had to borrow someone else's helmet.
Really?
Yeah, but it was kind of cool. Yeah, when you're young like that, you like that kind of stuff.
And are you sitting there over on the sideline saying, "Come on, defense, would you stop him? I want to get the ball back"?
20 plays.
I know.
I don't think I was ever in a series that I had a 20-play drive.
Sure you were, Jim. A bunch of times in practice.
Yeah, practice. Oh, yeah. We what was our scrimmages? 130, 120, 130 play scrimmages, Jim?
You got tired from dropping back and handing the ball off.
Oh, my goodness. But, that's one where you know that it's going to affect the defense somewhat, but they kept coming back. It didn't matter what the situation was. And the best thing Jim said in that whole era right there a few minutes ago was that some of the players that were playing in that game almost took it into heart that Joe Paterno didn't think they were good enough to play on their team. Mm-hmm. And when we went up there with a bunch of young players, not all freshmen, but a bunch of young players, we were determined to come out on top in that game. Not knowing if we could, but the heart that we all put into it was something that I think everybody could see as they watched this game.
Well, I want you to know when I announced that you were going to be the quarterback, there was a lot of lifted hearts and a lot of hope generated at that moment in time. And thank God you were able to put it together and lift this team to new heights.
It's a funny thing. I was watching the game, and you talk about the pass, because physically we could not hang with them, offensively or defensively. And Jim came in and turned our whole program around because of the pass. And they came in and we didn't block them very well, but it was a 50 protection, three-step drop, and we just started picking them apart. And that kind of changed the game in college. Nebraska, all of a sudden they had to change. A lot of people had to change because of the NFL offense.
Yeah.
And Jim Kelly.
Oh, thanks.
And Jim Kelly. All right. It's a love fest here. We'll be back with the rest of the third quarter.
There you take a look at the Hurricane defensive bench. Gene Coleman sitting down at the end, his 4th interception of the year. Canes now have the ball. Kelly will put it up, goes to the near sideline. It is caught by Joyner after a 6-yard gain. He's out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Penn State has to be discouraged by that. They held onto the football for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. And how many plays did they use up, Hank?
Ran 21 plays, Rick.
And come away with zilch.
Empty.
So that is some of the discouraging aspects of this game of college football. But all due credit to the tenacious Hurricane defense. 2nd down and 4. Kelly again. Quick drop. Wants to go left. Pumps, man open. He's got Brodsky at the 45-yard line. He's getting enough time. He's tall enough to see over the line of scrimmage, and he is putting the ball right on the numbers.
Well, this Brodsky has a pair of hands on him. Look at this. He just a good pump fake here by Kelly. You see it there, and Brodsky has been getting open. All the wide receivers have been getting open all afternoon into that Penn State secondary. 19 yards on the reception.
First down for Miami at their 45-yard line. Walker and Joyner will split to the bottom of the screen. Hobbs and Roan, the backs in behind Kelly. Here's that split hitch again. Joyner eludes a tackler, 45, 50, and has run out of bounds at about the 50-yard line. He was trying to set up a block by John Kanai. Kanai got the job done, but by that time, Lance Mell was over and just took all the yardage room away from Joyner.
Well, that's that hitch pattern that Joyner runs. It was semi-successful in the first half. They went to it a couple of times. Here it's well defensed, but Joyner actually makes a good move and a very excellent effort to get anything out of it at all. He did get 5 yards. Miami staying in the air, Rick. 3 out of 3
Well,
plays.
if you can do that, you don't need a running game, but sometime this afternoon they're going to need it. Breckner in the offensive backfield with Roan. Kelly deep drop this time. They're after him. He's going to have to. Now he breaks away. Breaking to his left. Fires upfield, and the intended receiver was Roan. He was stymied at the 40-yard line. I won't say he was being held up, but he was not moving anyplace. Kelly showed the strength that he has as he was under all kinds of pressure from Donaldson, the linebacker who was coming from the far side, and Greg Jones, the tackle. But he finally broke away, got the pass, and it fell harmlessly. Roan was the man for whom it was intended. 3rd down and 5. Kelly now is 12 for 21, 181 yards. Joyner, incidentally, has caught 5 for 50.
Penn State dodged a bullet there because defensive secondary thought that Kelly was stopped and there were people open.
Ball at the 50-yard line, 3rd down and 5. Quick drop. Across the middle. He's got a Walker down to the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Just a simple deep slant over the middle, but Walker was right smack dab open in the middle. And Mickey Urquhart, the left cornerback, was beaten on the play. We'll take another look at it.
Walker, as you said, runs a slant. Kelly looks like he's going to dump it off quickly here. Instead, he looks into Walker all the way, and Walker just beats the coverage. Penn State a little lax in that secondary right now. One of the reasons may be that Urquhart's having a little trouble keeping up with Walker at this stage of the game.
He is slicing them to bits. The ball at the 25. Another drop. Here's the pass for the corner of the end zone. Walker down there, can't get it. Urquhart was the defensive back on the play, but they ran out of room in the corner of the end zone, and Kelly got it up a little bit high. So it'll bring up a second down from the 25-yard line. Now at this particular point in the field from here on in is where the Hurricanes have had some problems this afternoon in 2 previous drives. They've had some penalties and have hurt themselves and have had to settle for field goals. Let's see what they come up with now. Brodsky is in. He splits to the top of your screen. Walker to the bottom. Roan and Breckner are the backs. Kelly, quick drop. Looks right. Looks into the middle. Dumps it. It is intended for Roan as he came back to the near side again after looking all over the place. Incomplete down at the 5-yard line. Led him a little bit too much and threw it high. Larry Kubin, the left end, gave Kelly a pretty good shot.
Jim Picorni did a real good job on Larry Kubin there. Kubin had a good rush on him. Picorni moved over to help out and threw an excellent block to give Kelly the time. Of course, it was incomplete. Now Kelly's calling for Joyner as that clock is winding. Miami's forced to take a timeout.
Miami is forced to take a timeout. You saw the confusion down there on the sidelines. And there you see part of the crowd of some 75 to 77,000 here at Beaver Stadium, and they don't look too happy. They're clapping for the defense. 3rd down and 10. Canes at the Penn State 25. Kelly back to throw against the blitz. He's popped it. Man open. Touchdown to Joyner in the corner of the end zone. Jim Joyner over Giuseppe Harris. And the Hurricanes come up with a tremendous play as Kelly, facing the blitz, got that ball off on target, and Joyner comes down with his 2nd touchdown pass of the afternoon. Watch it again.
Beats
right in his face.
Coverage.
That's right.
It's Tom Wise, number 49. Giuseppe Harris also back there, Rick, and incredible toss by Kelly because he did it in the face of a blitz.
Okay, on the touchdown pass, Joyner picks up number 2 of the game, and Kelly throws his 3rd TD of the year. Miller can add to insult to injury, and he does. Puts it through the uprights. The score now is Miami 20 and Penn State 10 with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. And what a shocker this is. There you see the happiness on the Hurricane bench, and we're going to take another look at the touchdown pass. Now watch it from another angle. Here comes the safety blitz. He got the pass away, and Joyner makes a heck of a catch over the shoulder, beating Wise, the cornerback, and Giuseppe Harris arriving late. That drive, 80 yards and 9 plays, with Kelly going 25 yards to Joyner for the TD. And there you see the youngster from East Brady, Pennsylvania, receiving the well-deserved praise of the coaching staff. 20 to 10. Miami out in front of the Nittany Lions. Guman and Rakowski are the deep men to receive Davis's kickoff. Here it is, down the near side. Rakowski at about the 5, laterally back toward the middle, looking for the open. Gets to the 15, back to his left across the 20, and he's horse-collared at the 24-yard line. And the man who gets up off the bottom for the Hurricanes is Mike Gettiger, who recovered a fumble early in the contest to set up a score.
This is really a critical situation for Penn State. They have problems throwing the football. Donovan is out. They've got to. They like to keep it on the ground. They need a score on this drive to get back in the ball game.
They kept the ball in the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter. 8:43. Had the pass intercepted by Coleman at the goal line. Came away with nothing. Here is Suey. Gets a big hole in the middle and squirts through across the 30 out to the 33. So it's going to be a yard shy of a 1st down. Good blocking by Penn State up front, but they have not been able to utilize the forward pass. Joe Paterno getting a little anxious down on the far sidelines. 2nd down and 1. Of course, still plenty of time left. 4:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. Miami with a 20 to 10 lead, but a big score that time by the young Hurricanes. This is the running back, Joel Coles, who gets out to about the 38, and he's got the first down. Coles, number 20, was converted into a running back. He played a high school running back position. But Coles, sophomore out of Pittsburgh, and we're going to get an official's timeout.
We ought to mention at this point that Booker Moore has been suspended and Dave Paffenroth also suspended, a pair of running backs. Now, I don't know what that does to a ball club, Rick, but disciplinary action was taken against both of them.
Kelly, 14 out of 26, 230 yards. Lester Williams shaken up on the last play, and they still don't have him all the way off the field.
And be sure to join us 2 weeks from today, November 17th at 2:25 p.m. when the Hurricanes take on the Crimson Tide of Alabama, live via satellite from Tuscaloosa.
There you see Lester, and they're going to go to work on him on the near sidelines. Lester Williams, the sophomore from Carroll City. Charlie Cook has come in to replace him. Junior out of Gainesville, number 75. First down, Penn State from their 39. So he gets jammed up by his blockers in the backfield, but he still makes it go, and we get a flag as he went down at the 43-yard line, circling to the right side. Let's see what the flag is about. And the preliminary indication is going to be face mask against Miami on the tackle. Face masking against the University of Miami.
This is a game of almost. Flanagan almost had him in the backfield there. Again, had excellent penetration, just let him slip away. So he gets the gain plus the face mask on the play.
15 yards to call in college football, a first down. And puts the ball down at the 43-yard line in Hurricanes territory. Suey has now carried the ball 24 times, unofficially for 101 yards. Gilman, 23 carries, 85 yards. 3:39 left to go in the third quarter. Tate will hand off. And this is Coles, the tailback, inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. We'll take another look at it and watch the blocking off the left side.
Coles comes in there and gets, this time it does work to the left side. And again, Suey throws an excellent block. These backs block for each other. They've been doing it all day.
Second down and 4 for the Lions. The ball at the Canes' 37-yard line. Receivers are split, backs in an eye. Suey into the middle. He's down inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line, and again, that's going to be close to a first down. Moselle Axon comes up with a tackle, along with Bob Nelson.
Jim Romano, the center for Penn State, have been doing a pretty good job on Jim Burt this afternoon. Bob Jagers is in there now. We'll see if they can run as successfully to the right side as they have.
And we'll get a measurement. The chains being brought into the far side of the field. Hank, more scores?
Yeah, Tulane beating Boston College 33-0 in the third. Brown over Harvard 23-6 in the third. Princeton leading Penn 24-10 in the third. Pitt leading Syracuse 28-21 in the fourth. Virginia Tech 23-13 over West Virginia in the third. Alabama having a tough time with Mississippi State at 7-0 in the second quarter. Auburn leading Florida 7-0 second quarter. And Virginia beating Georgia 17-0 in the fourth.
And a reminder of our WIOD broadcast of the Dolphins game exclusively against the Houston Oilers Monday night, 7 o'clock. First down for the Nittany Lions. Pitch to Coles, outside of the right, back to his left, still going inside the 25 and knocked down at about the 24-yard line. So Coles getting considerable action this afternoon as Gooman may have been shaken up a couple of offensive sequences ago.
More scores. Georgia Tech and Duke tied 7-7. We're going to see a replay. Watch Munchak, number 78, how quickly he gets out there. Gets the good drive block on Greg Sapala, and that's what made that play go. Continuing with scores, Maryland, North Carolina tied 14-14 in the third. Mississippi leading LSU 17-0 second quarter. Richmond 3 going over nothing. That's in the second. Rutgers over Tennessee 13-7. How about that? That's in the third quarter. Cincinnati 21, Florida State 7 in the third quarter. Ohio State 34-7 over Illinois in the fourth. They keep rolling. Indiana 14-10 over Minnesota at the half. Iowa and Purdue tied 14 apiece in second quarter. Iowa State and Colorado tied at 3 in the second quarter. Kansas leading Kansas State 26. That's in the second quarter.
Second down and 1 for Penn State. The ball just shy of the Hurricanes 23, and time for the Canes defense, which has been great this afternoon, to stiffen up again. Miami leads 20-10 with 2:25 to go in the third quarter. Suey into the middle. He's got the first down to about the 21-yard line. Matt Suey. They've gone to him most of the time this afternoon on 3rd or 4th down running plays when they needed the yardage, and he gets it.
Some more scores, Rick. Michigan leading Wisconsin 47-0 in the 4th. Nebraska 14-6 over Missouri in the 2nd. Michigan State leads Northwestern 14-7 in the 2nd. Notre Dame leading stubborn Navy 7-0 in the 3rd. Texas A&M 27, SMU 14. That's in the 4th.
First down, Penn State at the Hurricanes' 21-yard line. Dale Tate, the quarterback. The long count at the line of scrimmage. He gives to Coles, and he is jammed up. And again, the Hurricane defense rises to the occasion. Bob Nelson was there. Flanagan along with Marion. Nicholas all there to jam it up, and we'll take another look at it. A loss of 2.
What a game that Nicholas has had this afternoon. As you see the handoff here, that's Mose Axon, who comes in, really jams up the play. And then you see David Jefferson come in, and I think over the top was Flanagan.
Timmy Flanagan again. He's had a Super Bowl game. The ball back at the 23. 2nd down and 12. Paterno on the sidelines. Receivers are split. Tate wants to throw it. He goes to the right side, and we're going to get interference. Call against Miami. Coleman bumped the intended receiver, Scott Hettinger, number 22. That was a pretty good call, in my opinion. And the official had a little trouble getting the hanky out of his pocket. But when he did, he dropped it. So that's the 2nd pass interference call. And we'll take another look at it.
Pretty good call and a pretty bad break. As you see, Hettinger had broken out to the far side. The pass is thrown behind him. Hettinger had no chance to catch it. He had started to run his pattern inside, and Coleman just couldn't stop himself.
All right, the ball is down at the 17-yard line. Off the pass interference, a first down. We have 1 minute and 17 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And Penn State being allowed a life here. We've got Rakowski and Hettinger split to the bottom of the screen. Here's the handoff to Coles, and he's wrapped up for a loss. Back at the 20-yard line. Guess who was there? Young Mr. Flanagan. What a game he has had. Tim Flanagan, number 90, a sophomore from Woodbridge, Virginia, suburb of Washington, D.C. at 6'2", 220. He's in there because John Daniels is out, and Flanagan has had a super ball game. He plays run and pass very well. 2nd down and 13 for the Nittany Lions. The ball at the Canes 20. Miami leads 20-10. 45 seconds left in period 3. Tate will put it up. He looks. He's still looking. Pops, and is deflected. Intercepted at the 20-yard line. That ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage. It was not well thrown. And we'll double check and see for you who got the interception. Number 65 for the Hurricanes, picking it off, Greg Zappala, the freshman defensive end from Pittsburgh.
Let's see who tipped it here, Rick, because that was really a big play. Lester Williams gets a big mid on it. And, boy, what a super play by Williams. You got to come in with your hands up when you're a defensive lineman like that. And Williams has learned his lesson well.
That's 12 interceptions for the Canes on the season. 2 in this season. The first one for the youngster, Greg Zappala from Pittsburgh. From the Canes' 21-yard line. There's a jam up in the backfield. The handoff went to Hobbs, and Bruce Clark, the middle guard, for one of the few times this afternoon, the All-American, makes a tackle at the 19-yard line. A 2-yard loss. Larry Brodsky will come in for the Hurricanes with a play. Let's watch Clark again.
This Clark is a monster. That's why you don't run against this team. Hobbs had no chance. Clark just beat everybody on the play. And Miami is going. I hope they don't go to a ground game here because the passing game has worked so well. 2nd down 11. We'll have no more time left. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. It is Miami 20 and Penn State 10.
Well, it's 20-10 Miami, and defense again comes through with the big interception. Jim, good job.
A lot of unsung heroes who, bend but don't break. Scott Nicholas, we got Fred Marion. A lot of players that stepped up. Mike Godak came in and got the inside kick. A lot of guys that were unsung and from that area, like I said, Godak and all those guys were from that area, and they started a game, and it was just one of those things that we want to show Joe Paterno that, hey, we could play there.
Yeah, but where was Gene Coleman from?
Gene Coleman was from, well, he's from somewhere in Florida.
Florida boy.
Keeps going back to that Sunshine State, huh?
Yep.
Well, and great drive for you to kind of respond to Penn State's long drive. You hold the ball, you go 80 yards, you throw the touchdown pass to Joyner, you
threw the ball every play of that drive.
Every play, and Coach was even talking, when we were watching, about the halftime adjustments that they did make, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
No, it was Earl Morrow that was doing that. You and Earl did that.
Oh, I thought I was trying to give you credit.
You talk about it.
No, I didn't talk about it. I just told him we got to throw the football. Heck on that running game, because
that sounded like a good.
they even had me running quarterback sneaks.
Yeah, for 8 yards.
Yeah,
those were big plays.
A couple of different ones. We'd run dive right, dive left, all these tough plays. But we came out the second half. Coach Morrow, myself, got together, and we knew that we had guys like Jimmy Joyner and Pat Walker both ran the 4.4s and a 40. And back then, that was fast. And of course, Larry Brodsky ran 4.6, 4.7,
4.9.
4.9?
Yeah.
We'll give a 4.6, 4.7, Larry. But we knew we were going to have to throw the football second half.
Well, and for you, it's just a compliment to you staying committed to that strategy of, hey, we're going to give our freshman quarterback the tools to win this game by throwing the football. And, here you are with a chance really for maybe your biggest victory in '79. And you had the lead, but you're still going to stick to the game plan.
Well, see, they never brought in a nickel back, or they didn't ever get into a real blitz situation and really try to take that away from us. And if we can get 2 seconds to throw the ball, and our receivers can fly off the ball, and Jim throwing it, you're going to be successful a high percentage of the time. And if you get a ball into the quarterback, to the receiver's hands beyond the linebackers, good things can happen to you.
Yeah. Well, the athletes that you had continue, even if they were a little slow, they still made plays for you.
Hey, we made it work. That's all that counts. When we came out, I don't want to give away the outcome. Nobody knows,
really?
Right? Nobody does know the outcome, right?
I don't even know.
Oh, good. Wow. Let's keep
We made the adjustments. They didn't make the adjustments.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Coach Schnellenberger out-coaches Joe Paterno. That's how.
I like that. I like that.
That's what happened.
Well, it's 20-10, and we'll come back with the fourth quarter.
Tracy Hall split top of the screen, Hettinger to the bottom. All right, Penn State needs a score right here. Here's the pitch out to Hall. Hall is up the sidelines and almost broke it. Inside the 50, knocked down at the 45-yard line. Cornerback Freddie Marion over there to make the tackle on the play. First down for Penn State. We'll take another look at it.
Looked like Miami got a little tangled up in the coverage over there. Marion made a good play to make that tackle because there were 3 or 4 defenders there. 2 of them collided. You see Marion come over, and actually he's the second man in there. Just trips him up before he can break it.
Ball at the 44. First down, Penn State. Wing formation. Tate hands off to Gooman, the tailback, and he bangs his way down to the 40-yard line. Mike Gooman out of Bethlehem, PA. The tackle made by Jim Burt. The Hurricanes defense has been stout enough this afternoon. Flanagan, Williams, Burt, Nicholas has had a super game. The cornerbacks, Marion, Coleman back there, have done just a great job. Kelly has been the big story on offense, but this defense has really done a number also.
And Jim Romano is back in at center now, Rick.
2nd and 6 from the Canes 40. Tate. All day to count the house. He's going deep. He's got a man open down there. Young Boone back, and it's incomplete. Jimmy Boone, the freshman who was a quarterback at the U.S. Military Academy Prep School, stayed right with the tight end, Brad Scoble, that time. Boone is over 6 feet tall, weighs 200 pounds, and just a great athlete. Freshman. In for the Canes on defense comes big Leon Evans. The human tree, 6'7", 270 pounds. 3rd down and 6 for Penn State from the Canes' 40-yard line.
Sounds like you make a good boxer.
Well, we'll see what happens. I guess they're fighting today, aren't they? At Too Tall Jones. Here's the handoff to Suey, and he blasts his way to the 37-yard line. So it's going to bring up 4th down. Jim Burt is the man who submarined and made the tackle. Ball just inside the 37-yard line. 4th down and 2. Scott Nicholas also there. 4th and a long 2 for Penn State. They are 4 out of 4 on 4th down conversions. That's a good stat. That's a good stat. We'll see whether they can do 5 out of 5. If they don't, the Hurricanes will get the ball back. What do you want to bet they give it to Suey? Now, Gooman over the left side. He did not make it. Great play by the Hurricanes defense off the right side. Scott Nicholas there to bump him. What a play by the sophomore linebacker from Clearwater.
Boy, Nicholas and Flanagan have just been all over the field this afternoon, Rick. And if we're getting carried away with the superlatives, it's certainly intentional, because look at Nicholas on this play. He comes up there, and Gooman just doesn't know what hit him. He had no room to run whatsoever.
Nicholas, a sophomore from Clearwater, 6'4", 225 pounds, playing with the flu. Boy, wait till he gets healthy. 11:44 to go. Canes in the catbird seat. They lead 20-10. Let's see if Kelly puts it up. Quick drop, wants to go left. He's got a man open. This is the tight end, 45, 50 out of bounds. Andy Barada down to the 44-yard line, out of bounds at the 43. 20 yards on the pass completion. We'll take another look at it as Dan Biondi made the tackle.
Well, I don't know how Barada gets so wide open, but he certainly is. Nobody within 5 or 6 yards of him, and here he just came across, didn't run a very complicated pattern. Maybe they thought Miami was going to sit on it because their coverage was not good on that play.
This Kelly has been something else. 1st and 10 from the Lions 43, handoff to Roan, bouncing off tacklers, and he is buried. Might have fumbled the ball. Let's see if they blew it dead. Got down to the 39-yard line. Coming up with the football was number 61, Leo Wisniewski. But the play had been blown dead. There's Scott Nicholas, and perhaps getting his ribs checked. Kelly is 15 out of 26, 255 yards, no interceptions.
Just a word about this Miami team. They came up here, there's timeout on the field, official timeout. A couple of them sitting on the plane last week after a very discouraging loss to Syracuse, Rick, and they said, we're just going to go up there and have a good time, and maybe they're having such a good time that they were real loose coming into the ball game, and that's what happens in these situations at times.
Clem Barbarino was asked to leave the ball game. I don't know what that was all about. He was in there for only a couple of plays at the right guard. Here's a pass. Complete again to Barada, the tight end, and they're going to rule his knee down at the 33-yard line. There you see Andy. And that's what the officials' timeout was just a moment ago.
Norman Lear's hilarious situation comedy series, Maude, can be seen every weeknight at 11, right here on Channel 6.
We're going to get a measurement for the first down, and the Canes score here. Why, I think it looks pretty good. They got the first down. Kelly, as far as the running game, has not had to go to the ground this afternoon because he has just threaded the needle most of the afternoon on his passing plays. His receivers have run their routes precisely. They've gotten open. They've made the catches. He's laid the ball in there. And what a debut as a starter for the University of Miami. Just a freshman. Walker spreads to the top of your screen. Brodsky to the bottom. Roan and pops the backs from the 33-yard line. Somebody jumps. Contact is made. It is Bruce Clark, the aggressive nose guard. Now, Miami has been penalized a couple of times in this situation previous to this. We're going to get offsides, however, called against Penn State, and it's going to be on Clark.
Clark has been coming off the ball very quickly, almost a little too quickly at times. On the play back around the 25-yard line where Kelly was almost tackled as he handed off to Roan, I thought Clark left a little early, and that time they went to a little bit of a long count. Here is the replay on it, and you see the long count. You can see Kelly barking the signals, and Clark's moving.
1st and 5, Canes at the 28. Jay Brophy, the freshman tight end from Akron, is in there now for Miami from the 28-yard line. Kelly will sneak it, puts his head down, follows the wedge blocking, and going for the close to the first down to the 23-yard line. He has run that play very effectively a couple of times this afternoon.
These plays have been coming in from the bench for the most part. I must say the game plan this afternoon has been outstanding.
Joyner comes in with his jersey half covered with mud. This is a natural turf here. Brodsky is out. Of course, Joyner carrying the plays. First down for the Canes. The ball at the Penn State 23. Miami has had 40 yards rushing, 261 through the air. Ball at the 23. Here is the pitch. This is Roan. Smokey turns the corner. 20. He's down to the 16 and out of bounds. On the near side of the field, Donaldson, the linebacker, cracked him out at the 16. And we're going to get an official's timeout as there is a Penn State player shaken up. Kelly ready to go to work from the 16-yard line on 2nd down and 4. And again, we get the long count at the line of scrimmage. All kinds of contact being made. Let's see who they're going to call it against this time. Jim Picorni, the Miami right guard, appeared to move first. And that's Lance Mell, number 56, talking with the referee, Referee Thomas Thammert. They're They're going to call it illegal procedure against the Hurricanes. And I guess it was McCorney, junior right guard from Boca Raton.
Well, that's costly because instead of 2nd and 4, now you're going to have 2nd and 9. And you can do a lot more on 2nd and 4. At least you have a lot more options. They're going to have to go back to the air.
Well, they've been going to the air all day long. Penalties for Miami, 9 for 68 yards. Penn State, 6 for 93. Hurricanes have an open date next week, and then into Alabama, Tuscaloosa on the following Saturday against the top-rated Crimson Tide. On 2nd, here's the pass in the end zone. Walker is there, tipped in the air and knocked away by Urquhart. A cornerback dropping back to defense on Walker. Again, Kelly had the ball there, but good coverage by Penn State. We'll take another look at it.
On that particular play, Urquhart just drifted back into the end zone. He didn't have to keep pace with Walker step for step because they run out of turf at this stage. You see how far back Urquhart is? He was just waiting for Walker to get to the football.
Brodsky splits top of the screen. Walker to the bottom. 3rd and 9 from the 21-yard line. Kelly, quick drop. Tosses a little flip to Roan. He's down to the 15, down to the 10, and out of bounds at the 10-yard line. That's good for a first down for Miami. Good call as they went for the first down, and Smokey Roan comes up with the key reception and started to turn it upfield.
He certainly has been spreading around the ball among his receivers. Here's Roan just coming out of the backfield. Excellent call, as you said, Rick, by Kelly. Looking at who's caught passes. He's been thrown to Barada, to Hobbs, to Joyner, to Walker, and now to Roan. He's used everybody.
Ball just shy of the 10-yard line. It will be possible for the Hurricanes to make another first down. Joyner will split to the top of the screen with his mud-covered uniform. Walker to the bottom. You got Hobbs and Roan as the I-backs. Here's the pitch to Smokey outside of the right, back to his left. Breaks a tackle, and by that time, the rest of the pursuit is there, and snow him under. And we'll see where they mark it as they on-pile. Steve Griffiths, the outside linebacker, was the first man there, along with Lance Mell. And they'll mark it back at the 12, so they lose about 1.5 yards.
Lance Mell is going to have to work extra hard now because the two great inside players are out, those two great tackles. But Miami, just incredible performance. Rick, people hurt, fluke bug, who'd have thought it?
And a young team with a young quarterback who's shown a lot of stomach today. Here's Kelly into the middle. It is caught for a touchdown. Walker, Pat Walker, and the Canes are pouring it on. Kelly waited, he had all day to throw it and drilled him right in the numbers. Pat Walker comes up with a TD reception, his 3rd of the season, and so Kelly gets him on the board again with his 3rd touchdown pass of the game. Here it is again.
Simple post, excellent reception by Walker because once again, he had Urquhart on his back, and I think Urquhart's going to have Pat Walker nightmares until next year.
All right, the Canes now drive the nail in the coffin. Here's LaBelle to hold. Miller can make it 27-10. It'll be a happy plane ride home. And there you saw an Olympic class, world-class hurdler, Lance Mell, hopping across the line of scrimmage. And the flags went down. Of course, he is offsides. Kelly is 18 out of 30, 282 yards, 3 TDs, 2 to Joyner, and 1 to Walker. No interceptions. What an afternoon. As you saw, referee Thammert, there you see Kelly. What a debut. East Brady, PA. Retired his number, 4,500 yards passing, or almost that total in his high school career. Now we'll get the try for point again. LaBelle will hold. Of course, it was half the distance from down to that point. Here's the snap. And it was a bad snap. Miller goes for the ball. He just kind of squibbed it on the ground. So the point is no good. There's a timeout on the field with the score of Miami 26, Penn State 10.
Well, it's now 26-10. Great touchdown pass to Walker.
Not bad. I mean, the whole second half, we knew we were going to have to go outside, whether it was a couple quick slants, and I know we don't get the chance to see all the plays, but Pat Walker had something special. He had some big hands. I'm not lying. His fingers are probably about 6-7 inches long, but we knew we had to do some throwing. We kept on throwing the ball.
Well, like Hank Goldberg said, you're cutting them up like a surgeon out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good job,
very
Hank.
good.
I like it. I like it.
But we're fortunate to be back here at Florida Atlantic on the campus at Boca Raton. And Coach Schnellenberger, an outstanding year for you this past season at Florida Atlantic. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this piece of hardware behind you?
Well, obviously our football team, when we were doing this show last year, they came together outside. We didn't see them, but they came together with the idea that they could win the Sun Belt Conference. They made that as their goal, and they said we're going to beat one of these advanced training teams that we were in playing, and certainly they beat Minnesota for the first time that a Sun Belt Conference team has ever won one of those games, but did win the last 3 games of the year, and that 2 of those were to qualify for the game. That was against Troy, which was a major game. We hadn't beaten them in 5 years, and we got that win, set us up with FIU. We blew them away, and then got into the New Orleans Bowl, and we were playing Memphis State, who has the 24th best offense in the country. And we had a wonderful game. Rusty Smith set 4 records in this game: best completion average, most yards, and 5 touchdowns. It's been a magnificent run for us. Probably a run that has mesmerized more people across the land, because that game against Memphis State was on the 21st day of December. It was the only game played, and the second game of the bowl series. So we must have had 5,000 people watching us, because I've heard from 3,000 of them here telling us how wonderful it feels to see a young team come on the national scene.
Well, and you'd have to wait a little while, but as time played out through the bowl season, you became the only Florida school to win a bowl game.
We did, and that has been so magnificent. The hand of God at work again. And, we don't have to defend that each week. That's good for 365 days before we have to do that again.
And also, he's the only coach, his record in bowl games, undefeated. That's something I just learned, too, and that's pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Well, I'd like to play in 5 more and see if we can keep that record.
I like
going.
it.
Well, as they set up the set here, I've been looking at this thumb all day
What
long.
is that?
I thought you brought it from Buffalo.
No, I was wondering, what, you got a football, a helmet, and a thumb.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
That thing really does look like a hand and a thumb. That was sent to me in the mail. No, it wasn't. It was brought over by a gentleman, and I wasn't here, and the secretary took it from me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. But then I finally found out there was a note inside there. So I pulled a note out, and I don't know if I can read all this, but anyway, what it in essence says is a thumbs up for all the past, present, and future excellent work. Thank you thank you for the game. And I guess what it has to do is that when you're starting a football program from its inception, you have to keep a positive attitude, and the thumbs up, I guess, is the most positive sign that we have for that. So I'm going to put that down in the players' locker room there next to the trophy, and we'll all keep our thumbs up.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be able to use all your experiences that you displayed at Miami from '79 to '83 in the national championship now for the next 5 years of this Florida Atlantic program.
Well, our kids know that the national championship is our goal. My coaches know it before they sign on. The players know it before they sign on. They also know they're going to have to work harder than anybody else in the country. They're going to have to be committed to the mission. And if they'll keep their nose to the grindstone, if they'll believe, truly believe, then it can happen.
We believe. I remember that slogan.
To believe is to be strong.
That's right.
Well, when we come back, we'll conclude with the 1979 Gridiron Great, Miami versus Penn State.
Rick Weaver with Hank Goldberg. That particular drive for the Hurricanes of 63 yards and 9 plays. Kelly to Walker 9 yards. And Miller had no chance to kick the extra point because of the bad snap. Kelly has put on quite a show here this afternoon. Jeff Davis will kick off. Against the wind, he gets it high. It's not going to be deep. The wind grabs it. Rakowski at the 12, 15, 20, 25, up across the 30 and knocked down at the 32-yard line.
Just to tell you how great a day Kelly has had. He's thrown to Joyner 6 times for 76 yards. Walker 3 for 52. Barada 3 for 32. Roan 2 for 12. Hobbs 2 for 58. Brodsky 2 for 59. What did Durante say, Rick? Everybody's getting into the act.
Yeah, and Kelly, quite a basketball player at East Brady. He was the most valuable player in basketball, averaging 23 points and 20 rebounds. as his team reached the state semifinals. Here's Tate. He's in a passing situation now. Good protection. He throws and is caught by Tracy Hall, and he's down at the Penn State 45-yard line. Hall, number 41. So just a fine all-round athlete is Kelly. We'll take another look at this play.
Well, Hall gets open, and really he just falls down on a play. Nobody makes a tackle. Tim Flanagan is the closest one to him. He catches the ball, and as he turns to start running upfield, his feet go out from under him.
Here's Tate again, sprinting to his right. Pops it to the near side. Flag is down. This is Hall, and he is horse-collared by Fred Marion. Moselle Axon and David Jefferson back there. But a flag is tossed at the 45.
And Gene Coleman fell down on the play. He was the man who was responsible for the coverage as he came up to defend. He slipped. Footing must not be all that terrific out there.
The holding call against Penn State, you could almost anticipate this because the Canes now know, as so does everybody else, that Penn State is going to have to put the football up, and they're sending everybody after the quarterback. And in order to pass protect, why holding is forced. There's the story of the game. And Miami has never been behind in this contest. Their defense, when Penn State got close, came up with clutch interceptions. And Kelly has been magnificent. He had a brother, Pat, that played for the Baltimore Colts, the Detroit Lions, and Birmingham of the WFL. Ray, his brother, played for Richmond. And his brother Ed played for Slippery Rock. How about that?
Rick, the folks are starting to leave.
Yep, and all of the Penn Staters here today, 75 to 77,000 strong, extremely disappointed. First and 26. Back at their 29, Tate puts it up across the middle, and he throws it in behind Scoble, the tight end, the man for whom it was intended. Tate off target. They have a pretty good freshman quarterback here, whom they're touting, but we haven't seen him yet, Jeff Hostetler. We'll take another look at that.
All you're going to see here is an errant pass. Tate back there really has time to get it off. It hurries it a little bit. As you can see, it's thrown about 3 or 4 yards behind Scoble.
We're happy for the Canes, of course, but for Howard Schnellenberger and his fine staff of coaches, what a job of preparation and a great job of execution by the team. Back to throw. Tate under all kinds of pressure. Now he's going to run with it. 30, 35, and he's knocked down by Scott Nicholas, who's had a gang of tackles today. Up at the 40-yard line. That's still going to be about 15 yards short of a first down. 7 minutes, 38 seconds to play.
And the Hurricanes dropping back into that prevent, taking the, knocking a couple of receivers down as they left the line of scrimmage, taking away the passing game, and they'll let Tate run as long as he wants to when he has that much yardage to make up.
Penn State ranked number 19 in the country coming into this game today, and the Hurricanes unranked. Tate. He's running for his life, and he gets to the 45-yard line, 10 yards shy of a first down. Moselle Axon contained him at the 45. Watch the defensive play containment now.
You don't see it very well from ground level, but that's exactly what they're talking about, containment as far as containing him from running is concerned, but the real containment is in the secondary where they're taking the passing game away.
We have 4th and 10. They've been almost perfect on 4th down conversions today, the Lions have, but we'll see on this one. Here's Tate to throw, almost falls down, coming out. He is tripped up, and a sack for Lester Williams back at the 39, and that's where the Canes will take the football. That was a 4th down play, and Miami could conceivably score again. With 6 minutes and 34 seconds left to go, the Canes defense comes up with a great play. Bob Nelson also there, but Lester Williams made it work.
I never thought I'd say this, but I wonder if Howard Schnellenberger is going to try to run it up or if he's going to try to hold the score down on Penn State.
Well, it's a happy day for Hurricane football. We hope indeed that this is the turning point, the turnaround for Howard and his staff and for this fine young football team. All right. Because they don't get any easier. Brodsky started to go in motion, slipped and fell down and had to align himself as a slot man. Good thinking on Larry's part. And here's the handoff going to Roan. Straight ahead gets to the 36. Lance Mell, the middle linebacker, on the stop.
There's absolutely no point putting the ball up at this stage of the game. They've got the ball down on a 36-yard line, at least not on first and second down. If they get into a third down situation, maybe they can do it. But with 6 minutes left to go in the ball game and a 16-point lead, no point in turning it over.
We'll check Kelly's stats for you here. 6:05 to go on 2nd down and 7 from the Lions' 36-yard line. Here is the handoff, and belting in there straight ahead is Breckner, the fullback. Check it. Let's see if it was Smokey Roan. Ball is inside and there you see a happy Bob Nelson.
And don't forget, Bruce Clark, the fine nose guard, is injured. He's out of the game now. Matt Millen, their defensive tackle, had back surgery yesterday, so he, of course, is not playing. And there's Howard Schnellenberger. And
I see Smokey Roan on the sideline, so the PA guy is wrong. That was Breckner, the ball carrier. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the Penn State 32-yard line. Kelly has gone all the way. Flag goes down. Good hit on Chris Hobbs by Steve Griffiths, the junior linebacker out of Utica, New York.
Anyway, my point about Clark and Millen is not so much the fact that the reason they're out is the reason the Canes are doing so well, but there is the opportunity now to run the ball up the middle.
We're going to get a holding call against Miami. And Penn State will take it 5:17 to go. Kelly is 18 out of 30, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 to Joyner, 1 to Walker. And just as cool as a cucumber out there, he has thrown no interceptions. And at times today, he's had pretty good pressure on him. The penalty against Miami sets the ball back to the Nittany Lions' 47-yard line. In case you join us late, Miami broke on top. Kelly steered them downfield. They had to settle for a field goal, but then he came right back on an excellent play by special teams, in which Gettiger recovered a free ball off kickoff situation inside the Penn State 30. And then Joyner got in for a touchdown, and it's been Katie bar the door since then. Here is Breckner finding a hole. 40 down to the 36-yard line. Tackled by Mill. Breckner is a sophomore from Endicott, New York, 6'1", 205. We'll take a look at the blocking off Miami's left side.
Well, you're going to see, let's see, who is that?
That's Grady.
It's Grady, that's right. Good block by Grady, and Breckner turns it up and breaks a couple of tackles. I'd like to see a little more of Breckner. He's a good hard runner inside.
Good blocker, too. Grady and Keogh, the offensive lineman, opening the hole that time. 4th and 8 for the Hurricanes at the Lions' 36-yard line. 4:20 to go. Miami leads 26-10. Kelly, long count at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to draw a 5-yard penalty, which will make it 4th down. It's 13. Just chewing up as much time on the clock as they can. Miami has 2 timeouts left, Penn State 3. We have 4:11 left to go in the ballgame. So suddenly, and most decidedly, however, the Canes defense has been great, held them in while Kelly jumped out the offense to a lead, which they have not relinquished, and it's been just a super team effort. 4th down and 13, the ball back at the Lions' 41-yard line. Greg LaBelle has come in to punt now, and Rakowski stands back at the 10. LaBelle kicking against the wind from the Hurricanes' 45. That's Rakowski, who started here as a quarterback, but is a wide receiver kick returner now. Here's the snap, gets a rush, and he gets it out of there high, not deep. Fair catch being called for by Rakowski. He makes it up at about the 19-yard line, and Penn State has a very tough row to hoe. 4 minutes and 5 seconds left.
I was just looking up to see the last time Penn State lost 2 games at home. We'll take a break.
We have 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the 4th quarter. It's Miami 26, Penn State 10.
Anyway, it was 1976. Ohio State and Iowa both beat Penn State here at Beaver Stadium.
All right, up over the football is Romano. Tate, unlikely, most decidedly, will go to the air. Drops to throw, has all day, now pops it. It is caught up the middle. Tracy Hall at the 40, and is bouncing off tacklers before Flanagan finally wraps him up on the far side of the field. They roll his forward progress is out to the 45-yard line. Tracy Hall. He's had himself a pretty good afternoon since he's come in, but he's in a catch-up situation. Here's Tate having to put the football up, and the Hurricanes not getting much of a rush, sitting back and waiting for the ball to be thrown. Great catch by Hall. Now he bounces off a couple of tacklers before Flanagan dumps him. Sprint out right. Tate fires to Hall again. He's dragged out at the 42-yard line. Coleman yanked his knees from beneath him, or he was gone up the near sidelines. Tracy Hall from Moorestown, New Jersey. 13 yards on the pickup, and And Mr. Tate is moving his ball club in a hurry. First down at the Canes 42. 3:30 left to go. Miami leads 26-10.
He's doing what he should have done on the last possession, throwing in underneath that deep zone that Miami's playing right now.
Hettinger and Hall split to the top of your screen. Suey has rushed for over 100 yards. This time he's a pass blocker. Tate up the middle. Scoville. Collision at the 15. Flag. Mark Smith collided with Scoville at the 15-yard line. I don't know about that call. We'll take another look at it. Smith looked to me like he was going for the football, but I'm not as close as the referee. We're going to get defensive pass interference call against the Hurricanes, third time this afternoon. We'll give the Nittany Lions a first down at the Hurricanes' 15-yard line. Mark Smith was back there. They're going to mark it at the 16. So Paterno now hoping for a miracle with 3:13 to go. Pass interference call against the Canes. First down at the 16-yard line. Tate, play fakes, drops to throw. Got a man down here, McCluskey. The freshman tight end dropped the ball. Wide open at the 5-yard line.
Oh, we have an incompletion. Let's take this opportunity to thank our director, Billy McCoy, for the great job he's done today. Thanks also to E.J. Stewart Productions for our remote facilities as we watch the replay here. Nothing special to talk about, just a drop pass by a man wide open. Anyway, our remote facilities, E.J. Stewart Productions. Of course, we thank our fine crew here today. Pete Doherty did our stats, outstanding job. John Kinsey, a spotter, and Jim Schoonmaker, stage manager.
Second down and 10 from the 16. Tate sprints left. Looks, fires. Intercepted at the 5-yard line. That's Coleman again. And he is finally knocked down at the 20-yard line. Gene Coleman comes up with his second intercept of the day, and the Nittany Lions driving again for the end zone, and this proud Hurricane defensive unit refuse to give it up. They bend, but they don't break, and Coleman gets his second intercept of the afternoon. Let's look at it.
I would like to see a replay on Coleman to watch the little shove he gave the receiver right before he got in position to make that interception, but that's the way it goes. Breaks even out, as they say, Rick.
That's exactly right. You saw the receiver and the official in the background behind the intended receiver. So Kelly, with 2 minutes and 58 seconds, has a long time in which to run out the clock. And here is Hobbs. He is going to get no place, as he's knocked down at the 19-yard line, a loss of a yard. Greg Jones, the left tackle for Penn State, makes the hit. Be a loss of 2. We have 2 minutes and 39 seconds left to play. Hurricanes have it won 26-10. They have a week to get healed up. Okay, Breckner and Roan are the split backs behind Kelly. The ball back at the Canes 19. Here's the handoff. Smokey Roan eludes a tackler. He's going to be hemmed in. Starts back the other way and loses about 3 yards back to the 16-yard line. Could not outrun the pursuit, and Larry Cuban, the defensive end, is there to nail him.
One thing you will not see from a Joe Paterno coach team is any shenanigans at this stage of the ball game.
Third down and 15 for Miami. The ball back at their 16-yard line. And into the contest for Miami, replacing Roan, comes Lippert, or check it, James Bigby at the fullback spot. Bigby, number 16. He's in there with Breckner now, and third down and 15 from the 16-yard line. Here is the handoff, goes to Bigby, and he hits the right side, gets only to the 18-yard line. The tackle made by Steve Griffiths. So this will bring in the punting unit. We have 1 minute, 29 seconds to go. Penn State will have another crack at it. And LaBelle will have to stand back at about the 2 or 3 yard line, kicking against the wind. So you know Penn State's going to come out of this with excellent field position. Hurricanes have the football game in the sack, 26-10. Great defense, a super afternoon by Kelly and his receivers. LaBelle has punted 5 times for a 33-yard average, but he's been kicking against the wind most of the day. So there's a timeout on the field called by the officials, and the Hurricanes have the punting unit on. There you see the Hurricanes offensive unit, offensive coordinator Kim Helton.
I think he wasn't under fire a little bit this week too, and I think they certainly bounced back, vindicated a lot of folks.
All right, LaBelle ready to go to work as we see Joe Paterno, his team about to go down to its 3rd loss of the season. A lot of folks have already left. Rakowski is the single safety, going to rush 10 guys. Here's LaBelle. They threw on him, not too deep. He hangs it high, gets good hang time. And Rakowski fumbles the ball, and the Hurricanes recover. Hurricanes recover. Down at about, let's see where they're going to come up with the ball. That's David Jefferson, the sophomore out of Hialeah, who comes up on special teams with the fumble recovery. So the Canes just can't do anything wrong. A 38-yard punt. Now watch Rakowski as he is hit upfield. And the ball popped out of there. Jim Burt is the man who shook it loose. So Kelly is back in there again with 1:21 to go. Paterno is fit to be tied. That's about as clean as we can keep it. Brodsky is put to the top of the screen. To the bottom is Walker. Bigby and Breckner are the backs. There's the handoff to Bigby around the right side. Gets inside the 45-yard line down to about the 43. Lance Mell, the linebacker, makes the tackle on the play. So the clock moving, and a stop now with 1:15 to go. It'll be moving in just a moment. Both sides have 2 timeouts left. Howard Schnellenberger, I think he ought to keep wearing that trench coat for the rest of the season. It certainly has brought him good luck, if you believe in that type of thing.
He'll be wearing a kimono in about 3 weeks. He'll be over in Tokyo for that Notre Dame game.
Timeout on the field with the clock stopped at 1:15. Timeout charged to Penn State. The ball will be at the 43-yard line. There's Gettiker, had a key fumble recovery. There's young Mark Richt, who has not played this year. Indeed, they're thinking about redshirting him. He's a sophomore quarterback out of Boca Raton. Just as Kelly was redshirted last year, and he has come in and has won himself a permanent job, I would say.
I think this is probably the last quarterback performance I can remember by the University of Miami that was this good was Bill Miller against the University of Houston, which was about 8 years ago, where he threw for over 300 yards.
All right, Kelly will keep it on the ground. That's Breckner, 35-30, and the fullback from Endicott, New York, gets a first down at the 28-yard line. The Hurricanes refuse to let up on them. 15 yards, and Barbarino, the right guard, threw a nice block out in front. Tackle made by Matt Bradley, a backup linebacker, and Breckner is coming out of the ball game. So with 1:04 left to go, the Canes have it won 26-10. Jim Kelly, just 19 years of age. What a future he has in front of him. The Canes finally have a passer. He will hand off. And that's Albert Bentley, the walk-on from Immokalee. He gets down to the 25-yard line with 40 seconds, as you see. Clock continuing to tick off. Bentley just walked on and says, I think I can do it. You need running backs. They took a look at him. They were convinced, the coaches were, that he could do it. So he's been playing on special teams and now getting some game action. 23 seconds. Time for about one more play. You know they're going to keep it on the ground unless Penn State calls a timeout.
It was longer ago than I thought. 14 years. That was Miller against LSU.
Breckner back in there, loses yardage back to the 28-yard line. 9 seconds. 7, 6. That's going to be the end of the ball game, and the Hurricanes come up with one of the great victories in the school's history, blasting Penn State, the 19th ranked team in the country. Here this afternoon, the final score was 26-10. Miami on top of Penn State.
Well, there's the final, 26-10, a huge upset, Miami over Penn State. And Jim, you had a few family members out there after the game.
Yeah, I don't know how to get on the field, but yeah, I mean, my mom, my dad, my relatives, my friends from my hometown, they all came to watch me sit on the bench pretty much for that game. And I'm sure a few of them were surprised when they saw me, run out on the field in that first series. But what a great time in Miami history. And it's a game that I'll always remember as one of the greatest I've ever played.
Well, certainly one of those lasting memories. And all of us, as we sit here today, we know that the Orange Bowl will be torn down in the next few months. And, I mean, for Jim, what's one thing you'd like to take from the Orange Bowl?
It's the history. I mean, the grass. I mean, I remember that grass was always soft, fast surface. It was always just probably the best surface I've ever played on.
That's exactly what I thought. I said too. So.
Yeah.
Coach?
Well, mine is more of a time thing. I played in the Orange Bowl as a freshman in 1952, and I played the last game of our season this year against FIU here in 2007. So if you add that up, that's 57 years of time lapse since I played my first one and to the time we played our last one. So I've got to be the granddaddy of them all.
How about for you, memories at the Orange Bowl and what we'd like to take?
So many great memories of the people, the fans pounding their feet at some of those games. But I'd like to get one of the lockers from the locker room, because I remember coming out of that tunnel and all the mist and everything, and really some of the speeches that Coach gave in the locker room during the course of those games was something I always remember. But locker room was always special for me.
For me personally, it was always warming up on the field before a night game, and the stadium speakers blasting the "In the Air Tonight" song from Phil Collins.
Yep.
And I was fortunate because it was really you guys that set that stage, because it was a game like this that started the mission to winning the championship and put Miami back on the map. Because when you played there, I was up in Minnesota. I didn't know about Miami until they won that championship.
Yep.
And Coach, just to go back to you and kind of let you wrap it up, this victory, where do you see that in historical kind of time frame or timeline, and as far as your mission to win the championship?
Well, it's really so very obvious that this game became the pivotal game in the direction of the University of Miami program. Up until that time, it was strife and coming from behind and win a few. After this time, it became a rush to the national championship. And you don't think that a game can be the precursor of a dynasty, but that's actually what happened. This was a precursor to a dynasty, and the University of Miami's dynasty is the finest and best since World War II. I'm absolutely sure, because I've lived those days. I was with Coach Bryant at Alabama, where he won 3 national championships in 5 years, only lost 1 bowl game, and only lost a total of 4 games in that period of time. But the dynasty for Miami, which has gone through 5 coaches, 5 championships, maybe even the 6th coach now, is a destiny that we've all lived in, we all lived through, and have all been a part of. And it's been a great historical run.
Well, and as I said, this '79 season was kind of that cornerstone of the championships that we were able to enjoy later on. And Jim, as we said in the beginning of the show, really started the legacy of the Miami quarterbacks. Not to slight you, Jim Burt, because the defense was always the backbone.
I have goosebumps.
But the quarterback run that really you started, Coach Schnellenberger, with Kelly to Kozar to Testaverde to myself, to Craig Erickson, to Gino Torretta, another Heisman Trophy winner, really started from this '79. And you heard Rick Weaver there at the end say, Miami has finally found themselves a passer. So I thank you, because this certainly was good stuff today, and we thank you for inviting us over to watch this game, and we hope that you enjoyed this Gridiron Great, the 1979 Miami versus Penn State ball game.